section.
Is that a question? I don't know. Hi, guys.
Hello. The end of an era. And Stuart goes, his signal goes choppy. Hello, Stuart. I said the end of an era.
It is.
Not our era, obviously, because we're going to have an
Well, I was
anniversary
going to say,
soon. But
no, Trekyards is ending. It's a sad thing.
or this film. Well, it's not even the end, but it sort of is, but it sort of isn't. And that's the ad for our video. Shut up. Okay.
Okay, just off the hop, right away. Guys, massive spoiler warning alert. Boop, boop. If you don't want to get spoiled for Endgame, if you haven't seen it yet, do not watch this. If you're watching this live, please leave. If you're watching this after the fact, please leave until you've watched the movie, and then we're going to have some interesting discussions for sure. But yeah, don't watch it if you haven't seen it yet.
But it was very much a choice to click on this. So we think you're mentally prepared for what we have in store because you did click on this.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, this came out, what, 3 weeks ago? I think 2.5-ish.
2.5, yes, almost 3 weeks.
And I had no intention, like, I never try and see things as they come out, just, it's not what I need to do. But because I was seeing Marie at a certain time, it ended up being the third day it was out on Sunday. I ended up seeing it, and I was great. So I have, I want to see it soon, just not, I didn't need to see it, like, first weekend. That's kind of cool to say, every weekend. What about you?
I was in Denver when I saw you were seeing it, because I was that weekend, and I was kind of pissed off because I flew out on the Friday morning, and Friday night Sylvia went to see it with her friend Joe from work, and the girls went out, and it's like, really, you saw without me? And then she wouldn't say a word about it, and I'm like,
that's good though.
I have a feeling of something that happens, and I told her, and she didn't say anything. Good. And then she goes, I wasn't paying attention because of the car accident or concussion. She was like, oh, the lights were too bright. I wasn't paying attention. Kind of slept through some of it.
As soon as you'd seen the film, she knew it all. It was amazing.
Yep.
Transformation.
So I came back from Denver and then sat here, checking on Facebook every day, just doing my regular social media stuff, which I can't really get off of because of the Trekyards thing.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm like, at some point, I've got to see this before I get it spoiled for me.
Yep.
So one day I just went to the movies by myself and watched it. So we both kind of watched it by ourselves. And then we went the 2 nights after I saw it with her mom to see it. And so I've seen it twice now. But yeah, I was kind of annoyed that it was while I was in Denver. I was like, oh, seriously.
Did you take that annoyingness into the cinema the first time? Because sometimes that can affect your viewing. Or was that sort of separate and you went in first time thinking, okay?
I don't think I took it in necessarily. I was kind of annoyed that she had seen it without me because that just bugs me. We like to do things together. That being said, I saw Black Panther without her, and she never let me forget it. Now I have something to
now it's
hold
fair.
over her.
Yeah. I think that's
exactly.
Fair. That's good. I like that.
But yeah. So I just want to scroll back up here. There's a Jack Tarbuck that said, finally, after months of missing live streams due to stupid working hours, I finally catch this one. Evening, folks. Well, hello.
Welcome. You. Hi.
And Nemesis 3006 says, Trekyards assemble.
Damn. And just note, look how few people are in this poster. Last time it was like 30 people. Now it's just like 9. So less have assembled this time. But we're here. We didn't die in the snap. We're right here. We survived, Stuart.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Speaking of, when the movie started and they had the Marvel logo, did you notice that everybody that disappeared in the last movie was missing from the beginning credits?
Didn't.
Yeah. How they have the animated Marvel thing where it scrolls.
And it was
if you watch, everybody that disappeared in the snap isn't there. It's really well done. Something that not everybody would have noticed.
Yeah, I didn't. I just thought it was a thematically different one because of thematically different show. Oh, interesting.
No, it's the same. Just everybody's supposed to be there, isn't. And yeah, massive spoiler, guys. It's the first time we've actually talked to each other about this specifically and what we thought. So it'll be interesting to get our takes on it as well.
But I do think it was good to talk about Infinity War yesterday because we actually had different opinions on a lot of things. Same on a lot, as we always do, but a lot of different opinions as well. And that was quite refreshing I was able to fill you on a few things, you had to notice things I didn't see. So I think that was a a good pre-discussion for this one, because this one is a different ball game entirely. I think it's fair to say.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of stuff in it, and a lot of smaller things to talk about. It's less focused as a plot, so there's more moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's just get to this first two super chats first.
Thank you, everyone.
Joseph Petrick, who's amazing, puts in €2, almost at £2. Endgame spoiler: Voyager gets home, the Borg Queen dies.
True.
That just never gets old. But you're right. You're right. So that's it in a nutshell. And Polish Gamer, £5. Thank you very much. Enjoy these movies. Feel like people let them get away with plot issues because of how attached they are. Like I said, really liked it though. And the plot issues, you got to give them a little bit of slack, considering how much they had to squeeze into 3 hours, considering what they had to wrap up story-wise, considering the amount of movies that led up to it. So the odd missing plot thread or something, I can usually let go with a series like this, because it's a well-woven tale from beginning to end. With the odd little hiccup, it's just like you got to give them a little bit of slack.
And to be fair, it's not like they haven't got the next 10, 15, 20 films to bring stuff back.
Exactly.
You know,
the plot issues could be explained away in future films.
I mean, we're obviously going to get repercussions from the snap and coming back. We're going to get, talk about the time travel, how, why, and not. I mean, all these, out of all the series that have a continuity, I don't think they're going to let us down by completely ignoring everything. I think most of them are either setups or deliberate things, because I mean, this film was years in creation, just these two films. And since they filmed them back to back, they had 2 years of filming one and a half, and then with being absorbed, then going to the second one. I think they would have thought it through before they started the 5-year filming marathon. So I'll wait and see. There's a few things, but I'll wait and see. But you'll do the next super chat, and I will. Well, I guess you already did, but I will. You talk about super chats while they're important, and I will share to everyone else.
Right. Well, he's sharing, guys. Super chats are important, not only to get your voice heard and get your question answered, because it's sometimes hard to see in the main chat window as it flies by. Did I cut out? Because you froze on my screen. Do you still hear me? Hello? Hello?
I'm giving my thumbs up.
Okay. Super chats are important because, yes, like I said, you get your voice heard, you get your question answered, and also it supports the channel. We did take a hiatus last week, and with no lives, because we're done Discovery now, so we had a bit of a break. But we're back, and next week we're going to be talking about some Star Trek related stuff in our lives. So
and the week after, something exciting we think you guys will enjoy. We'll say that for now. We'll tease it now, show you next week, and then do it the week after.
Yeah, maybe something exciting. We were working on it kind of all day. Well, not all day, a few hours.
Oh, I meant the other live thing.
The
regular live thing we're gonna do.
Oh, what's that? 'Cause I forget.
I'm gonna keep showing you. Keep talking about the channel. Just.
Oh, anyway, yes. So if you want to support us, super chats are a good way. Plus, you get to interact with us. Another way to really support us, actually, there's a bunch of ways down in the description below of all of our videos. Check out the links, because there's a link to Patreon, which helps us on a monthly basis, which Patreon we're going to be focusing a little bit more on soon. We're going to try to up the Patreon benefits and rewards to get more support that way, because Patreon's like a very important part of our monthly income. So if you guys can support us on Patreon, please go click the link down below and do that. You can also PayPal us during the lives and just any time, really. All the PayPal information is down below, because during a live on YouTube, the super chats, they take 30% off the top right away. So if you want more of your money to go to us instead of YouTube, you can definitely send us a PayPal and just put in the chat that you sent us PayPal. We'll check it and we'll read your comment or question that way. So, but yeah, there's other ways as well. There's the Teespring store down there. You can pick up some cool Trekyards merchandise and just support us that way. There's lots of ways to support us. So definitely check out the links and whatnot. So I guess the best way is just to subscribe, click the notification icon, and share the videos around. That's just the free way to do it. If you can't afford to super chat or whatever, that's fine as well, but share around. Jeff Jacobs puts in $2 and says, I will pay again once we hit 50 likes. Make me pay. Well, we've only got 42 people, so hopefully the number goes up. But yeah, we got to make Jeff pay. Everybody hit like right now. Do it. Do it. I use wordplay to do spoilers. People were teasing each other. One said Batman dies, so I said, I'm too busy getting hammered with Guardian to care. Man. Yeah, see, there's the links in the chat window right there. So you don't even have to check the description, because Jeff, he's got our Patreon link there. He's also got our Teespring store. So check out that cool stuff. And another great way to support us for sure.
Okay, shared. There we go.
Oh, he's back. Yay.
Okay, so...
It says 45 people. Well, it says 44 for me now. So
42 for me.
Ha. We'll get to 100 likes, I bet. Or 100 people. Yes.
So then, your general blurb short review of the entire movie.
First time I watched it, because it was different both times.
Okay. I've only seen it once,
first...
by the way. I want to see it again in IMAX, though.
Yeah.
But I'm good at seeing things in film, so...
Yeah. Well, first time I enjoyed it, but I had gone in hearing, oh, it's the best movie ever from a bunch of people.
Guardians of the Galaxy it.
Yeah.
For me.
And it's like, that's not, sorry. It was good, but the first time I watched it, the ending felt very, very hollow to me. Like there was a lot missing. And I just had this, I didn't cry. I didn't do any of those. You know, people were like, take tissues. And it's like, first of all, no, I don't cry in movies, especially with fictional characters. Maybe with a real story, maybe. But it's not the kind of person I am. So I didn't cry, but at the end, I just felt like there was problems with it. And then it just felt hollow to me. Second time around, I really, really enjoyed it. It was much more pleasurable the second time around. So, but overall, beautiful story, well told, well paced, a few issues, and it surprised me on a few levels as well, especially with some of the other characters when they came in. I didn't expect quite when that happened. It was a little late in the film for me, but it's understandable. They just didn't really get their screen time, so that's kind of where I stand with it.
Yeah, like I say, I think you've Guardians of the Galaxy it, but often seeing a film or show the first time around, you just might not connect with you. You take a second time round to just enjoy every facet. So I let you liked it more second time. But I went in. I mean, obviously, you go into an Avengers film, you know it's going to be good, right? Yeah. So expectation for me was just it's going to be good, but what are they going to do? I deliberately only watched the first trailer, nothing else. And I think it was the first teaser. It wasn't the first trailer. I didn't see any of the shots of the stadium being, none of that. I didn't, what the suits were beyond they were white suits, and I just saw that because I was, social media happens. So I was completely non-contextual, and I'd imagined that, of course, they're going to use the Time Stone in the Infinity Gauntlet to undo the deaths, and because there's something time travel-y in the. But I was surprised the way they went with it, certainly. But no, I think it's a really good film. It's it's a different sort of film because it's very much a franchise ender referential embracing of the franchise. That's why I like Infinity War slightly more, because it's more of a film. This is 50 minutes of resolution to the first film, which is very slow. It's all good, but it's a long time very slow. Then it goes into high gear, and then it goes into time travel playing, pretty much, which is fun, but it's a different shift in film. Then it just becomes a big battle at the end, which is satisfying, but not as interesting as it could be, and then it ends. But there's so many moments of satisfaction throughout it that you're just left with all these moments that are so carefully and crafted. But it definitely went in directions I wasn't expecting. But I enjoyed it. I would like to see it again, obviously, in IMAX. That's an intent. And I'm also excited to see the next Spider-Man, because that's going to deal with a lot of the repercussions of this. A lot of questions. The world, the universe is forever. Well, the universe within the universe of this franchise has been radically changed for all of history because half of everyone everywhere died, and then half of everyone everywhere came back. That's repercussions.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Good call. Did Marie enjoy it?
Yes. She never says
she
much
watch...
about films or TV, so.
I know, but did she watch Infinity War with you beforehand?
Yeah. We've watched every single Marvel together since Civil War, which was our second date film. So, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's funny because after I saw it, Sylvia all of a sudden was like, chatty about it. It's like, even though you didn't remember anything, yeah, I love how she was sparing my feelings. It was kind of nice of her, but still.
Yeah. Well, it was nice of the internet not to post anything. I mean, I thought that was I was like, oh, because it takes restraint. Everyone has to just not post.
Yeah, and I was surprised with the people that are on my feed that I didn't see something. So, but anyway. Until the day after I saw it, then I saw my first trailer or a spoiler. It's like, really? But yeah, I mean, and seeing it by myself was interesting because I could really just focus on the movie. And that being said, the first time I was kind of like,
Well, question: How packed was the cinema though? Like, how much of an experience was it?
It was like half full, which I'm glad of. There's nobody sitting beside me on either side, which was nice. And it was the big VIP theater, so I had the tray and the menu, and I ordered some stuff and just chilled out. Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely the second viewing. The second viewing with the mother-in-law was better. Again, the theater was half full. But we went at 10. It started at 10:45 at night, so we weren't out of there until like 2 a.m.
Pretty late.
Yeah, well, guaranteed no kids and all that crap, you know. Which was nice. So, yeah, I really did enjoy it. It's a great film. First time I saw it was in 3D. Second time was just regular, and I got to say, there's some really good 3D moments. Especially near the beginning with the spaceship against the Nebula. That was really well done. Like the spaceship was like right here in 3D. It looked really good. So it is worth seeing in 3D if you're into that kind of thing.
Because I mean, I'm gonna see it. Yeah, it's gonna be 3D IMAX. I guess might be what I see it next as. Imagine that 3D level. Holy hell. It's definitely worth. It's like Avatar. It's worth experiencing before it goes out of cinema. I think this will be a long cinematic thing. So I saw it in a completely full cinema, absolutely 100% full. We were lucky. There was about 7 seats left. We bought the tickets 6 days before we saw it on a Sunday, a bit after midday, sort of 4 p.m. And there was 5 seats left, 3 singles, 1 paired together, and they were actually pretty good seats considering. And I was like, oh, yep, those. Which was good, and it was fully packed. A few kids, but they shut up, I guess.
It's good.
Quite a lot of popcorn, but that's okay. But I don't often do movies in that way. But for these sorts of movies, like something like Star Wars, the energy of the room can completely change certain scenes. You'll only get that experience once in your entire life. I think back to Avengers 1, when Thor, Hulk throws Loki around, puny god, everyone in the cinema bursts out laughing, and it's such a powerful way when you feel like you can laugh more, and everyone's laughing more. Like that's once off, you know. So that was great, and having all the beats and so that was nice. And I did cry a couple of times, or at least got teary. I'm not gonna bawl my eyes out, but there's certainly a few emotional because it's swelling. I get into films, I get into things like that, but it was certainly emotional. Not so much the funeral, but the portal scene, the escalation, and everyone comes in. It's all heroic, and that was emotional. I think one of the bits. I think Tony dying, the actual dying bit, but not the funeral bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get emotional at all.
You're I'm not a cold-hearted bastard. So
yeah, I don't care. Things like that don't bother me. I think I cried once in a theater, and that was during Titanic when the lifeboat was being lowered and the little girl was talking to her dad on the deck, and her dad's like, "I'll see you soon, honey." That was kind of sad because I'm a father. You know, I was just picturing my little Cassie in the boat. You know. But that was a long time ago. Speaking of Titanic, this one's blown it out of the water. James Cameron did a nice...
Blown out of the water.
Exactly. Boo! James Cameron has done a nice graphic of the
Yeah.
Avengers thing sinking his Titanic because it's blown past it. So that's great. It's about time that we got knocked out of first place. That's been there for quite a while. So congrats to them for doing that.
And it might have taken 22 films to build up to it, but that sounds exactly right.
Mm-hmm. And yes, I forget who said it, but somebody asked if my mother-in-law appreciated America's ass, and she did. Yes, that was one of the best scenes in the movie. It's funny. But anyway, so let's just start talking about specifics, I guess.
I'm interested. What do you guys think? I mean, let us know some basic thoughts, because we want to know what you think too. We care, don't we, Stuart?
Sure, absolutely we do. And yeah, Game of Thrones. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 should be called as Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm sure it will be. You'll see the movie poster, it'll say Guardians of the Galaxy, and there'll be a little AS scratched in before it. I guarantee you.
It is that sort of joke film, and that was one of the better moments for sure. Okay, so I guess let's start with the start then. So it kicks off with Tony in a bad way. I'm pretty sure VFX lost weight, because I was like,
Yeah, that was really well done.
But it was,
very, very convincing. Yeah, and it opens up an interesting concept. There's this theory out there that Tony Stark actually died at the beginning, and the whole thing is what he imagines, him saving the universe, him having a wife, having a kid, having everything he wanted, and being the hero at the end of the day. So none of the movie actually happened. It was all his hallucination as he died. So that's the end of the movie. Done.
Oh.
Because it looked like he died. It really did. She picked him up. She put him in the chair. Like, how did Captain Marvel find them? Like, seriously, was there a homing beacon? It was just coincidence.
Well, the thing was that Rocket is on Earth, and Rocket is the pilot of the ship, so he'd know computer codes. He'd know. I mean, if anyone would know how to find it, he would, and Captain Marvel could just zoom around the galaxy. And this is one of those things where Captain Marvel was an okay film. Had some good bits, had some not so good bits. It was okay. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And so, obviously, I think the audience is worrying that this newest entry, which is one of the most powerful, which is a weird thing to introduce one away, given that it doesn't quite connect to the rest of the films, because she should have been there at multiple points, but whatever. I think she was in this film just enough, which was very little.
Yes.
But to the point I actually forgot about her until the end, which is good, because she's not important. She's just one of the many. These heroes are heroes, and she does these three things, and they're all important, and that's good. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. When the ship started firing at the sky and there's something incoming, I was like, what is going on? And it's like, yeah, that was perfectly done.
I was convinced that was Nick Fury's helicarrier. I thought that would be a nice reference to have, S.H.I.E.L.D. pop in.
Entering the atmosphere? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, before they said that line, when they were like, something's coming, I thought, because there were clouds, they looked to the clouds, I thought it was going to come through and just shoot guns and it'd be epic. And I thought that was the natural thing, because Nick wasn't in the battle, but he, could have been. Not as a helicarrier left. I guess I kind of did that in Avengers 2, but I thought that was going to happen, because I forgot about Captain Marvel at all. But I like that, they use her properly. She can fly, she can find things. I mean, who else could have saved Iron Man? Who else could have found her? Him? Probably no one else.
Yeah, you kind of cut out there, so I missed some of that, but got the main gist of it.
Yeah, who else could find Tony except Captain Marvel at the start?
Yeah. Well, yeah. That whole Nick Fury thing, they wouldn't have had enough time to get a helicarrier up in the air and stuff. I'll talk. That is one of the plot problems that bothers me when the people came back.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, should we get there, or do you want to go right to the end now?
How we're going to talk about this? I think we're going to jump all over the place.
Okay. Oh.
Unless you don't want to.
No, I saw. I just so moved in the thing.
Okay. Well, one of the things that bugged me about the snap to bring everybody back,
yes,
is literally within 15 seconds, Laura was calling Hawkeye. His wife was calling him.
Mm-hmm.
So she has this telephone plan 5 years in the future. She's been gone for 5 years. Did he honestly keep her cell phone plan active And where did they show up? Did they show up exactly where they left?
Yes.
Really? Okay, so
Yeah.
if if half when you see the cityscapes, half the building lights are out. You would think in 5 years people would move and take up an abandoned building. So you're going to show up in your apartment with some
Yeah.
homeless dude, well, not homeless dude, but some other dude living in your place.
Mm-hmm.
It's just awkward, a little much. And the fact that she
Were you
decided to
showering at the
call
time,
him
and now you're in the shower?
exactly.
Ah!
There's a lot of whatevers. Plus all the people that died as a result of people disappearing, like we said, pilots. Plane full of people. Maybe half of them died, but the other half smashed into the ground and are dead now. It's like those people don't come back.
Well, and you're thinking, obviously, you take that and extrapolate that to the universe, because if everyone everywhere, well, if there are multi-galactic civilizations traveling at space travel around, and what if half of the crew died who've piloted the ship, and all of his passengers, none of them can use the ship? Well, crap, the ship's gonna run out of fuel and die. So yeah, there's bigger repercussions. I mean, that's the problem having a galactic, well, universal plot. And you can't possibly address everything. It's funny. Normally, I'm the one that sees plot holes slightly more out of the two of us, and obviously Discovery, I was always a bit more like, I see the things and I call them out. But I even consider the Hawkeye's wife having the cell plan. Although, to be fair, Avengers, I'm sure, don't need to be on T-Mobile to have a phone. I think they all have special phones that work irrespective and all part of SHIELD networks. Like, I'm sure, you know what I mean? If you can phone an Avenger who's also an assassin, I think there's probably exceptions to the rule in terms of if you're an Avenger or an Avenger family member. So I'm probably something special for that.
All right. I still see a lot of issues with it, which we'll probably talk more about as we move on. But I just wanted to point that out. Some things they didn't really bother me too much in retrospect because they were trying to cram all this into 3 hours.
Yeah.
So they needed to, tidy things up really quickly.
And there's a lot in this film.
Yeah.
There's a lot of setups.
Yeah, and Jeff Jacobs puts in $5.
Thank you.
I really wanted Captain America to say, "I can do this all day, just one more time," when he was the only one left facing them all. Yep. Hit like, make me pay, LOL. Hashtag like Spike.
Yeah.
Everybody hit like. Yeah. All right, so where are we? Tony Stark gets rescued.
With Nebula, who's a massive focus in this film. Oddly.
Unfortunately, yeah, I hate her.
Yeah, I was a bit like she feels so inconsequential in the 3 films she's in, or the 2 films she's in.
Yeah.
It's like, she's a focus? I mean, she's a good actress, but it's not a very interesting character to me.
Nope, I agree.
Gamora.
I was rather annoyed with that whole plot point of what her character.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
So Tony dies. It's quite nice though. He gets home, and you get this really kind of dark scene where he's just like, I'm done, and he's just thin and he's falling down. He goes insane pretty much. And it's a really quite dark scene.
Mm-hmm.
If it's right at home, because obviously he knows he's failed, but he doesn't know what that really meant. I'm sure he's imagining in his head all these billions of possibilities of everyone dying, and
Mm-hmm.
He didn't know Pepper was alive or not. I mean, could you imagine? And was she pregnant? Was she pregnant at that time? No, I don't think she was.
No, she wasn't.
But
Oh, if she was, she didn't say.
Yeah.
I don't think so. But yeah, I mean, they did a good job of making him look emancipated, like just thin.
Yeah.
And I love how he takes his reactor off. I'm like, oh yeah, right. He had the surgery to fix that. That's just a container for the nanites, because they addressed that in Infinity War.
Yep.
She's like, you shouldn't have this, and she taps it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty cool.
Gives it to Cap, saying, "You use it." And it's like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. Seeing Cap go all nanite.
Yeah, handing off the mantle, as it were, which comes in later. Again, that bothers me, but that's okay. So.
And then we get the plan, because everyone's like, where is he? Captain was like, I'll find him, I'll kill him, and Nebula's like, oh, I know where he is. And was like, and we're like, ooh, okay. They can't really be that easy. And then I was like, what are the world gonna do next? Oh yeah, they've got a ship, obviously. They've got a ship now. And they go to the planet and they kill Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
And it is just that easy. And that's the first 6 minutes of the film. We kill the villain. Done. Gone. Success. End of life. See you guys tomorrow. The film ended, right?
Yes.
The shortest Marvel film ever.
Because then it faded to black and there was no ends.
No.
Actually, there was a really, really, really long
post-credit sequence.
Post-credit scene.
I like that. That's good. That's good.
No, because it goes to black and it says 5 years later. And it's like, wow, they actually went there. He's dead. There's no resolution. They didn't bring anybody back. The stones are gone. It's like, wow. Okay, so they're dealing with the effects of what has happened. The director is in the next scene.
Yeah.
He's the one.
Gay.
Yeah.
First gay character in the franchise, apparently, or openly. I didn't even notice. I was like, oh, he's gay. Okay,
yeah.
But that's just
me. I love the poster. Now, what do we do now that they're gone? Kind of thing, like the whole aftermath of what would happen.
What
interestingly handled.
What do you think of actually killing Thanos? I mean, the first time you watched it, were you thinking that was a possibility? How did you think?
It seemed like the thing that I would do, just to get instant revenge, instant karma. So I really appreciated it. I thought it was interesting. It was a good plot twist. Mm-hmm. Considering that he's kind of, he's done what he needed to do.
Yeah.
His character's kind of come full circle. What else are they going to do? They can't use him to bring the stones back. The stones are gone. So. Which
was ballsy as well. Jeez, destroying the things that were created the creation of the universe. Okay.
And it's a good follow through for Thor, because in Infinity War he was just about to kill Thanos, and Thanos is snap. You should have went for the head. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? That's exactly what he did here. So he learned from that mistake, and he's of course guilty. He's been beating himself up about it.
Yep.
And rightfully so, maybe. I don't know, but yeah. But it's interesting the way his character goes too.
Yeah, and I was pretty impressed by this opening, because it sets you, it messes your brain. And same thing as I said yesterday, the snap will never work for audiences again, because they'll have heard a meme or something about it. Unless those that really are sheltered in maybe 10 years. Same thing. Thanos is dead instantly. You need to watch that the first time and go, oh, this is not the film I was expecting. Mm-hmm. That's because I was expecting they would spend a bit of the film trying to find him. He would do something. There'd be a thing. There was no thing. And that's, unlike The Last Jedi, as I said yesterday, that's a good subversion of expectations. You think one thing, they don't do it, but they take it in a new direction, they commit. And it's kind of fun to see the, hurt Thanos, who's got, quite badly injured because he destroyed the stones, and that power is, absurdly powerful. He's mellow, he's chill. Obviously we see that later on with young Thanos as well. It's sad that the good character died so early. And the other Thanos is never as good as the Thanos in the first film.
Well, yeah, he's 9 years younger, not as tempered, not as, and it shows. But yeah, I agree. That was interesting choice to kill him off, because Thanos had grown as a character. He'd accomplished what he wanted to accomplish. He thought everybody would be grateful, and they weren't. And he was kind of confused by that.
Which is why the young Thanos then just becoming a homicidal, kill everyone, felt not cliche, but like, oh, he's just the baddie now. It was a bit underwhelming for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, you kill Thanos, have another threat, which is a bit of a weird thing to say, but
Yeah. The whole, and Thanos too, just the way he shows up at the end and is so overpowered, that bugged me a little bit.
Okay, we'll get there.
I know we will. I don't think it's going to be much of a linear discussion, because we're going to have to jump around a little bit, but.
Well, yeah, we're in the 5 years later now, so we've kind of got there a little bit more. But what did you think when you heard 5 years later? And did you think they were going to undo that? Did you think they were actually committing? Was it tricking you in some way, or what was the first time you saw it vibe?
I was just surprised that they did that, because they brought nobody back. They hadn't done anything. It's not the movie I expected to go in and see. Yeah. I expected it to pick up right where it left off.
Yep.
With him leaving and them kind of going, okay, we got to find him. Mm-hmm. It wasn't quite that, which surprised me a little bit. But
well, it's weird, because it really kills the momentum. it basically undoes the entire first film's vibe, and then resets, and you start again from scratch.
Yeah.
And when you're zoned in to watch 6 minutes of Infinity War Part 2, and then end, and now you're in Endgame, and it's a weird momentum-y film. It is a sort of a full reset, literally and figuratively. Although I do appreciate that it goes straight to Cap, and he is the primary give or take in this film. Give or take, because he was so underused in the last one. I think that was intentional, obviously. So I thought he did a lot of good stuff in this one. Mostly just a good guy, like. But the time travel stuff's always fun. But I appreciate. I mean, they said early on, and then when Infinity War came out, they said we had we had cards with each name of each Avenger, and when we decided to kill everyone, who are we going to keep? And that was a discussion. And they had say there's 10 survivors. They always had 6 of them from the very first time they talked about it, and they sort of shifted a couple of others. There was almost always that original 6. The original 6 Avengers. So I appreciate that it is now super focused on the original ones from the first one, because I mean they started it as well. It makes sense they ended it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that speaks a little bit to what I said earlier on, where I expected the other people to come back a lot earlier in this movie, or to get them back a few at a time, somehow, and to join the group. But no, it happened at the very end of the film, practically. So they got very little screen time. That also was a surprise to me. So it did surprise me on multiple levels. It wasn't the film I expected. It was good because I really enjoyed the way that it did play out. But it just wasn't what I went in thinking it was going to be, unfortunately. So it was nice to see Black Widow with red hair again, finally, because the blonde wasn't working for her, in my opinion. So 5 years later, how it had the blonde tips, but it was, red and grown out, which was nice.
Yeah, why did she go blonde? I was like, it didn't even occur to me that she was never blonde. That she was blonde, and I was like, wait, she's never been blonde. What?
She looked her best in Iron Man 2 when she was first introduced. And then the look just kind of devolved for some reason. I don't understand why.
Okay, weirdly, but it's weird to say this, but it's true. But she was over-sexualized in 1, and they've taken that down one step every single time to the point of not being sexualized at all. And that's not a bad thing, but she looked her best in the first one.
Yeah.
And blonde definitely wasn't, because blonde just looks like Scarlett Johansson. But the red is what makes that character slightly iconic, especially being vibrant red.
Yeah.
But again, she doesn't really act like that character either, a lot of the film. That's the thing, they've all moved where they are, except kind of Captain America a little bit. That's why I guess kind of first 50 minutes, it doesn't drag for me, but it's not what I wanted to see. I didn't want to see Scarlett Johansson sulk about stuff, talking to Cap. It's like, this is not, but when I go to the time travel stuff, then it ramps up into full gear for a hefty ride. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I guess the next major thing that really happens then is that everybody reporting in. Mm-hmm. And I love how Captain Marvel is like, there's other planets besides Earth, and they don't have the Avengers, so I need to be doing other stuff. That was kind of a good, where have you been? Because she's absolutely right. Other people need help. And I didn't have a problem with her character at all. The new hairstyle kind of took me off guard a little bit for her, but it worked really well. Like you said, she was in the movie just as much as she should have been. And the fact that you forget about her by the end, and she doesn't really come in and save the day either. She kind of gets her ass handed to her a little bit.
Yes. She does a good thing and then gets beaten for it, as they all do, and that's part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everybody reports in, and War Machine and Black Widow have a nice little conversation. It was nice. They're reporting from different parts of the galaxy or whatever. Or where are you?
Yeah.
I forget where he said he was. I think he was he was on Earth, but
I think they're all on Earth except Captain Marvel. I think they were still worrying about the planet. Like the Wakanda lady's like, I'm doing my thing. Just trying to do my thing here.
The earthquake underwater.
Yes.
Which I've watched a lot of videos on
Set up,
YouTube since then
apparently.
about all the Easter eggs and things, and it's a war with this underwater. Yeah. Anyway, so that's really great. Um, yeah, it was nice. It was nice little touches. And the fact that she cut her sandwich diagonally instead of straight, and it refers to the Captain Marvel movie, how Nick Fury was like, "I never eat sandwiches cut diagonally." Just a nice little,
Oh, didn't even notice that. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So,
Yeah, I like that one too. I like that, she's known Nick for a long time, so there is no Nick Fury, there is no the other lady, so she is the only one to keep that mantle. And they said that if I leave Avengers HQ and don't be the operator, there's no one else. So either I don't have a life and I help save people, but not even in the field, or I'm here. And it's really sad, but it tells you a lot about the character.
mhm.
And in terms of the Captain Marvel, I didn't care about the haircut. It's like, oh, you're really trying to be feministy. It's like, oh, okay. But it doesn't matter, luckily. But it's like, oh.
Mm.
Although it's funny, she can't save the entire galaxy because she can't fly quick enough to go between stuff. I mean, it's like Superman. If he had to protect every planet in our solar system in the same day, he couldn't. And then the galaxy is like, you're not that quite that powerful, but it's a nice touch that, yeah, you're right, that she has to go save other planets. Although
Yeah.
Angry Joe pointed out that those planets have their own heroes, right?
Some of them do.
Some of them do, but some of them don't have as many problems. I mean, I'm sure if metahumans can exist, we're a basic bitch planet of technology, and we have how many heroes? So
Yeah.
you imagine how many, and just alien races. I mean, these are So I think there's but obviously she's more. I mean, she was only on the Earth for what, 30 years, and she's been
Mm.
around the galaxy for more than that. So her
Yeah.
home is more the galaxy than Earth at this point. So yeah, again, it's perfect to get her out of the movie because she just didn't need to be in it. And she wasn't.
Yeah.
It was. And then you get the Ant-Man, which was fun.
Yes.
The rat that saved the universe.
Pretty much, yeah. Who later becomes Splinter as a result of the gamma radiation that was ejected along with Ant-Man from the quantum realm.
That would be a fun little crossover, to be fair.
You never know.
And,
But yeah, he gets spit out, and he's like, "What the hell?" Because 5 years in real life is like 5 hours in the quantum realm. So I love the security guy like watching him leave, like all suspicious and stuff. That was good.
Yeah, it was I like the focus on him because Ant-Man's a good actor. As in, the way he does that is good. He's a relatable guy. He has good lines. He always has good lines, pretty much.
Yeah.
And obviously he comes from the world before, so it's refreshing then to have that sort of spirit still be there. He's the only actual Avenger that's still an Avenger. Everyone else is a post-Avenger.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he comes in. He's like, guys, hello, and everyone just thinks you were dead. It's like, I wasn't dead. Although I think the way the quantum zone stuff is. This was called the quantum zone.
The quantum realm, yeah.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I know that's Ant-Man 3, but it's a bit of a MacGuffin because in the second film, the mother was able to live a lifetime in real time with a civilization down there, but he was also able to do 5 years. Like, it's kind of whatever you need to do plot thing without any real tangible ability. And also, you can just by going smaller than atoms, you can travel in time.
Well,
what?
They pulled in a quantum specialist for this movie to talk about the quantum reality and the quantum theories for time travel, how they don't follow the linear path, like let's say Back to the Future. So the quantum mechanics of this movie make scientific sense in the fact that they have a specialist on staff that was helping them with it, which was neat. I love the line. She told me Back to the Future was all bullshit. It's like, doesn't take away from the enjoyment of it, but yes, kind of, it could be. And the fact is, we never time travel, so we don't actually know. But
besides, normally these different movies, TV shows have their own rules set up in the start. Back to the Future has a rule set. That's how time travel works in their universe. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. It doesn't, other things, other places. This is just one way, and it's a bit of a weird one, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, so very quickly, very quickly, go straight to time travel. And as I'm a big fan of time travel stories, I didn't think time travel would be a part of this universe because it's a massive thing to do.
Yeah.
And it becomes even more. science fiction-y, but this is, I mean, for me, superhero is a different genre. It's not science fiction so much as superhero. Time travel is sci-fi, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, I agree. But then you got this Doctor Strange with the time crystal. I thought if there's going to be time travel in this, it was going to revolve around the time crystal specifically, which is it's scientific, but it's more mythical at the same time, mystical.
Well, that was always manipulation of time in our area. Going back or forward in time is a very full-on concept. You know,
Yeah.
Anything with as much power as they're implied to have can change time to I mean, it's magic, but actually going back in time, like that was a very different concept I was expecting. But I liked it. I mean, it suddenly goes this massive. Ooh, I say we need to. Who's a smartest person? We need Iron Man. Okay, go see him. He's got a kid. He's married. He's got a little farm. It's nice, but at the same time, thinking, I mean, it's nice for him. And he's lucky.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as he sees Pepper, he's like, yeah, we're some of the lucky ones. Most people aren't.
It's funny you mentioned the farm because the very first.
Oh yeah.
Arrow with the. I'm like, I bet you any money this happens before everybody just. But how ironic is it? That
you died a bit. Sorry. Try again.
That's okay. So yeah, I thought this is probably happens before the original snap and everybody disappeared. I mean, how ironic is it that everybody disappeared in his family, his wife, and it should have one kid, you know, still be standing there like what happened, or something. But yeah, so I called that like right away as soon as I saw the arrow. I'm like, oh wait a minute, this is before the snap.
It's a great opening. Start with the least caring Avenger. You're like, oh damn, the stakes are real, but it's good. Like that's actually a really good payoff for the setup of him not being in them.
And just for the record, I like mayonnaise on hot dogs, so that answers that question. Who wants mayonnaise on hot dogs? Seriously, it's so good. And maybe it's because I'm Canadian.
And that was either Russo's daughter or it was one of the writers' daughter. Was Hawkeye's main daughter? It was like one of the top higher ups, random daughters.
Yeah, I love how he calls her Hawkeye, like because she's banging.
That was never the name in the movie, so it's the obviously setting up that she could be the next one. Although that's even more time jumpy, but whatever. But that's been a good opening, and yeah, Tony's lucky. He still has many of his friends and his wife, and Hawkeye lost everything.
Well, and that's what I talked about yesterday with Infinity War. I thought it was ironic at the end of that he was one of the ones that survived the snap and had almost no repercussions in this one because Pepper was still alive. He has a kid. You know, his main friends are still alive. He did lose Peter Parker.
His surrogate son. Yeah.
But the most selfish of the Avengers, because that's what they play him off as. I mean, he starts off selfish. Cap starts out as, you know, being, you know, too good for jumping on grenades and stuff. And then at the end of their arc, they kind of trade this where Captain America kind of does the selfish thing while Tony does the least selfish thing and saves everybody. I don't know where I was going with it. Oh, yes. I got to say, the Audis in the future are nice. The cars. And who's still making those? Like, I guess the production didn't halt on a lot of things, even though half the population disappeared. You'd think that there'd be like not as many modern conveniences.
But how long will it take to readjust? I mean, how long will people go without?
Probably a year.
Exactly, before the world starts. I mean, how long can we go before we have new phone models?
Yeah.
You know, because suddenly one company will say, "Oh, we'll be able to focus," and all suddenly it comes out, and then the competition comes back. So I think 5 years is, in a real life term, people. It's like if Brexit really, really, really happens, and all this shit happens. It's like, but the government, people will revolt if the government actually allows, you know, food shortages and all these things. Like people are expectant of basic services, so if they don't happen, well, that's the government's fault. And they know they have to make sure they happen. So they're not going to allow it to happen. They just won't, because that's not how it sort of works.
Yeah.
And guys, please do super chat to let us know what you think. We haven't had one for like half the film already. Guys,
and we would love to bounce off your comments and stuff, and you know, take us on a conversation.
Even if it means going to the end, or you know.
Yeah. Remember, if you want to PayPal, you can do that as well. We'll check that. Just let us know that you sent a PayPal. Jeff Jacobs puts in $3.
Oh, timings.
Yes, 50 likes. I will pay again at 75. Yes, 75. Well, there's 79 people here, so if everybody hit liked, we'll get to 75 instantly.
That
Go, do it.
Good.
Okay, so they all show up at not Captain America's, Tony Stark's place.
Yes.
Who's got a daughter now. He's making a suit for Pepper, and the kid's playing with the suit. Yeah, and he doesn't want anything to do with anything. His life is happy. He's good. Yeah.
And
did that surprise you with the Morgan thing, with having a kid? And
well, I mean, you kind of want these things from them. You know, you kind of want them to have these nice things in life, and to impart.
You want the multi-billionaire to have nice things in life when he's had nice things his entire life, because he's always been rich.
But he's known how meaningless they end up being.
But
that's his journey. He's realized what's important, and it's not what he's, had, whatever. No, I liked it. I mean, also when you then watch it, you're like, oh damn, the vision he saw of the future was actually the truth. Although predestined, if you know you're going to call a kid Morgan, and you call the kid Morgan, is it because you knew, or is it because you thought you knew and therefore did? So who's to say? But I thought it was nice. I mean, knowing he dies, knowing he got 5 years of the life he not always wanted, but the life that him and Pepper sort of deserved. I mean, he did enough for the world.
Mm-hmm.
So 5 years.
And Pepper definitely deserved to have a happy life, considering how she treated her for a long time.
Yeah. But it was nice, and I didn't blame him for not wanting to continue. But at the same time, it's sort of not believable that he won't. It's the film, but it's just how they got there. And I thought the way they got there was really sweet. He was just basically doodling, and then he figured it out. He's like, oh shit.
Well, I just figured out time travel. Yeah, that's one of the things about this film that bothered me a little bit, was that it was kind of lazy. Everything was just too easy. It just all fell into place.
Discovery season finale.
Yeah. But I mean, I just discovered time travel. Ooh, okay. Well, we all know how to get to where we need to get to. There's no learning curve as far as how many years back we're going and stuff like that. I mean, they did one test with Clint to kind of explain that away, but I didn't buy it personally. I felt there was a lot of laziness, but again, they had a 3-hour runtime, and that was pretty long considering how long most movies are. So this movie could have been broken up into 2 movies for me, to be fair. But so I don't have a major complaint about that. It just seems a little bit contrived.
See, I sort of buy that. The problem being is that they had zero chance of time travel until Ant-Man comes in and explains basically field research without meaning to. And suddenly, Tony's like, oh, that's a possibility. So it would never have crossed his mind until it was forced in his face. And I can imagine that he spent, 7 or 8 hours that night because he couldn't get out of his head. I mean, he is the smartest guy on the planet. That's sort of the whole point. And, he might have tinkered years before. But, until you know the direction to go, you can't find it. But once he knew where to go, and he's got all these powerful computers that can do simulations. So I thought the finding it wasn't too bad. Because, I mean, if he can develop... I mean, look at Iron Man 2. He managed to make the new element that's impossible instantly.
Yeah, that's
like,
another one.
Huh. Okay. So it's like, but I think did they explain, or was that that's Orville where you have to think about the past, go into the past. So I think the traversal bit was a bit easy, especially if they could time travel inside of the past, which didn't need the future time tunnel thing. That was a slight problem for me, that they could time travel within time.
That's what the the time GPS things were for.
Well, that was to keep them safe and true, but they need the first device to get them through. Otherwise, they could just use it anywhere, anytime.
No, they needed the PIM particles to shrink down to go to the quantum realm to get to where they need to go to. So once those were gone, then they wouldn't be able to time travel anymore.
Yes, so, but how did they get? Okay, I'm trying to say is that if they had to build that big device in the present,
Yes.
What was that for then?
For show.
Oh, well, it's true. Well, to get Thanos back. I thought it was a two-pronged process. Like, that does something. Like, the pin particle shrinks you, that sends you or something. So it's a bit weird that when... Because otherwise, anyone with a pin particle, and which he can make easily, and an emitter, which they all have, you can now travel anywhere in time instantly. Although it's obviously dimensions rather than time, per se. It's slightly more, you know... It's universes rather than time, because you're creating universes by doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
So the little, you know, although the dumb thing about, you know, we only have 9 pin particles unless we go back and see them now and get more. Nope, let's do that only at the end. It's like, no, just.
Well, yeah, they didn't expect to screw up, and they wouldn't need more pin particles if they got it right the first time.
Yeah, but they're smart people. I mean, they would just get more. Don't create a false limitation when you know you don't need a limitation.
True.
Like, I'm sure there's still some in his office. Well, I mean, just go back to Hank Pym's office 4 years ago in Ant-Man 1 and just steal 6. I mean, it's not... Why not steal 100? And now you can be really careful. You know?
Yeah.
You know.
Jonathan Davies puts in £2.
Yay.
Thank you. What about Gamora? Is that a paradox? Nope.
Yo.
Because it's a different Gamora.
Yes.
Yeah. Different Gamora.
Well, shall we explain them? I think we're pretty much at that point. Although we haven't got a Thor yet, but we'll go to the time travel bit for a minute. So what was their rationale for their time travel?
What do you mean, the rationale?
I mean, how did they explain it? Like, how does it work in this universe? Because they're very careful to say instantly.
When you go back to the past and change something in the past, it won't affect your present.
Yes, because the present's the present. It's set.
And you're currently in the present because you went back in time.
Yes.
So it's not going to affect you there. It's I don't 100% understand the quantum time travel theories. It's just I love how they mention Star Trek, Time Cop, Time Tunnel, Back to the Future, Terminator, all that stuff, because it's all movies have lied to us apparently.
Yes. Changing the present doesn't affect. Changing the past doesn't affect the present, because if you change the present, change the past, you couldn't have got to the present.
You never would have won, but yeah, exactly.
And you need the present to get to the past. Now that's fine in concept, right? Then you get to when they meet Doctor Strange's, in the first one, well, I guess only one film, Doctor Strange's original caretaker of the Time Stone.
Yes.
Who then shows us the stones and says, this is the universe. If you take them out of the universe, it makes an alternate universe, and that each of these universes need the stones to just be there to save everything. So that's why I have to put the stones back. You know, if you're stealing them from the past, yeah, you've got the stones, but you have to put them back when you took them. Now, that would be fine in concept. The problem is they changed so many things in those pasts that now they can't be the past. So now it is just creating, every time you go into the past, you create a new alternate universe. It's not time travel so much as just going into an alternate past and you change it to make a new present for that universe. It's not like... It's just dimension traveling. It's really, you know...
Yeah. Well, here Jonathan Davies again puts in £2 and says, what about Nebula? She killed her previous self. She killed her past self. Yes, but her past self was also her present self because it came to the future.
Well, yeah, it was a past self in the present. There's a present self and a past self in the present.
It's hard to explain. I can't even wrap my head around how that didn't affect her, because she would have technically been dead.
No, because she was now out of time. In that time,
I know, but that creates different.
It does, yes.
Realities.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're in a reality where in the past happened.
And yeah, even the old Captain America at the end.
That's the biggest
problem. Directors even said he's from an alternate reality.
That would make
somehow he crossed over to this one, but that ties in with Far From Home, where we hear about the multiverse and how they're eventually going to be able to cross over. So a lot of these issues will be resolved probably in future movies.
Yeah.
It's just confusing. Once you start with time travel and alternate realities and multiverses, it just gets complicated.
Because as soon as they kill Thanos, I'm like, oh. You know how they kept saying we have to be careful with putting stuff back in place? You've killed the villain in that timeline. That's not careful. How is that careful? Everyone, all of his fleet. That's not careful. So they don't quite explain it well enough. but I think they wanted to take the label of alternate reality and let that be the tag word of the Spider-Man. Because if you say it in this film, that film's not special, except it shows it for the second time. It has to be time travel, because if it's time travel plus alternate realities, that's a lot for the audience to take in. But the Captain America ending is so against the film's concept, completely. Because if he really did live in that time, then blah 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 blah. But also then even the things we saw, he was at Peggy's deathbed pretty much. What, did she know that they were married for 50 years and she just didn't mention it? He kissed her daughter. He kissed his own daughter. That's creepy. So it's a different universe. He went and lived an alternate timeline and came back. But the next one they have to make that clear.
It's so confusing. I got to quote Captain Janeway here. Time travel. Since my first day on job as Starfleet captain, I swore I'd never let myself get caught in one of those godforsaken paradoxes. The future is the past is the future. It all gives me a headache. And it's so true. Yes. Good Tea, Nice House, puts in $2 Canadian.
Hey,
thank you. And says, hey guys, I missed you over the past few weeks. We've only been gone for a week, but maybe he missed a few lives, which, welcome back. Hello. We're back.
Welcome back him.
Yeah. Joseph Petrick puts in £2. Thank you. Or €2, sorry. Grandfather paradox does not apply, as they said. There's a bunch of different time travel paradoxes. Yep. Grandfather one is one, and that doesn't apply in this instance.
But it is just a summary of alternate realities and alternate universes. It isn't anything else.
Yeah.
But it actually makes time travel really safe, because they could just go back, do anything.
Devo77, I love it.
What?
Death is such a primitive concept. I prefer to think they've moved on to another dimension to fight evil. That's from Last Starfighter.
Oh, yeah.
Griggs says it.
Yeah. He's so cheery. I like that guy.
Yeah.
But seriously, okay, kind of skip to post Endgame, but now they've given time travel without any repercussions, and infinite pin particles, unless he decides not to make pin particles when he can't use the whole Ant-Man suit, which is the whole point of Ant-Man films. So it now seems like they've got infinite time travel, and while, yes, let's be respectful to those alternate universes and not screw them up.
Yeah.
You've already done... why not go steal Mjolnir? They did, obviously, put it back, but why not? I'm sure there's some things you could calculate as not being important, in the sense of course you could steal 50 pin particles before they were pin, while he could make it infinite, he would just make some more. Why can't you steal, why can't you go back to Infinity War and save all the Asgardians before the ship explodes? Because he wouldn't. Why would Thanos care if there were bodies or not? No one checked, so just save the pills. So it opens up a massive door. They're gonna have to add something. Maybe they're gonna have to say you can only time travel once. Any more than that, you die, or something something more repercussive. Because it's now easy, just easy.
Yeah, and Bill Barkley says Far From Home introduces the multiverse. Yes, but also Spider-Man also opens up the multiverse as well. If you guys haven't seen that, it's good. But yeah, it's always kind of been a thing. So,
so we talk about the. Oh, sorry.
We got to talk about Thor.
There we go. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah. So they have to get the Avengers together to fight. Well, that's way earlier, isn't it? Damn it. Okay, way earlier. We've got to get Thor. Nope, after. No, they killed Thor. They killed Thanos.
Yes.
But this is the new mission, because Iron Man is out. We need a team to go back into the past. So who do we call?
So who do we find? We need somebody as smart as Iron Man, and we call the Hulk. Or, sorry, Banner. Hulk. And I got to say, I really enjoyed that character seeing him first time. Just the mellow way he was talking, and the kids, and hey, yeah, come on, and get the photo. It was just, you want to get a photo with me? I'm Ant-Man. The kids are like, and Hulk's like, yeah, they'll do it. They want. It's just a great interaction. I love that scene.
It's ultimate cringe as well, but it's fun.
Yeah. So they get the Hulk, who is now melded between Banner and the Hulk, so he's like Professor Hulk, I think is what he's called in the comics. And then they have to go find Thor. And Thor, I really like Thor because I can totally relate to him. I finally have a perfect cosplay now. I can cosplay as an Avenger because I already got the bod for it. Just gotta get a wig and.
They made
So depression,
just for you.
Depression and regret has the same effect on gods as it does on mortal men, apparently. So, love that. And this scene later, what's flowing through my veins? Cheese whiz. No electricity. Yeah.
No, it's a yeah. I mean, Hulk. I like Hulk. I feel sorry for Mark Ruffalo though, because now he's going to be CGI from now on, which he's a good actor by himself. So I kind of felt sorry for him in that respect. But I like the hybrid. Although some people said, if you want to see Hulk be Hulk, massive fail in this movie. He doesn't smash. He doesn't do anything hulky. He's mostly Banner but green. I don't care personally.
I don't either.
It's an interesting new take, and I appreciate the try, and I like the comedy stuff with him. I mean, I like they say, he's smart, but a doctor who can do brain surgery can't necessarily amputate a leg and re-sew it back together. It's different fields. So yes, Banner's smart, but he can't necessarily. He can do some time travel basics, but doesn't mean he understands it all. Why would he? So I like the fact that it, brings it down to I'm not smart enough for this in the right way. And Thor, the audience laughed so loud when Thor came up. It's fun, and it shows that Hemsworth was dissatisfied with his first two appearances because all he had was what he had. Like, there's not much else to do. Thor 3 gave him something really new. Infinity War, same thing but comedy. Like, he had good banter, and then this one, totally different version of the character, and still rewarding. Still rewarding
because of his obesity, basically. Has other repercussions such as self-esteem issues, depression, anxiety. I love how they kind of made that a thing.
And he's playing Fortnite, which I thought was one of the worst bits of that scene. It dates it heavily.
It does, yeah. That's not going to be relevant in like 10 years.
5 years. 5 years.
But I hate Fortnite.
I've never played it. I don't intend to. But I like the new Asgard, although it being on Earth was a bit odd. But I mean, why not? Norway, and it's been such a quaint village. I wish it'd been more Asgardian, but they had only budget for flying them there. But I wish there'd been Asgardian towers, or they're a very advanced race of people. Why not make it a bit more sci-fi?
Yeah.
Why couldn't the Wakandans, let them borrow some tech? I mean, I know not all gods, because that's not most of them. But the fact are shut in and sad was interesting. I mean, he's done his job. He did save a quarter of his people. He saved half of them. He did. Then half got killed. But he saved a quarter of them. Not that many, but some.
Joseph Patrick puts in €2 and says Tony helps since they do not change the present. Tony came in with the time GPS thing, which helped because when they did the initial test with Ant-Man, he came back as a baby, as an old man, and that alleviated that problem. So yeah.
Yeah, well, Tony developed, because I mean, did they imply that Hulk also worked out how to time travel, or did Tony tell them? Okay, so he got the basics, but Tony didn't figure the time travel bit. He figured the living through time travel.
Yes, and I think how to hit the target as far as where they were going as well.
Yeah. So one's because you can imagine Tony builds things. What does Hulk build? He's not a builder. He's not that sort of engineer character. So it makes sense the guy that built the Iron Man suits could develop all that stuff. So I like that. And it's funny. I mean,
Jonathan.
I think it's funny. Sorry, I laughed.
I did too. Somebody peed my pants. I wasn't sure if it was old me or baby me or just me.
It's dumb, but it's good. It's good dumb.
Yeah. Jonathan Davies puts in £2.
Thank you.
Thor had PTSD. Yep. Love the bit where he saw his mom. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I really liked what they did with Thor, to be honest. A lot of people hated it, but I thought it was great because it makes them feel more real as people. Just because they're heroes doesn't mean they're perfect. And you see a little bit of that, his character being, those kind of traits early on, even in Infinity War. He's got some indecisiveness and stuff,
Yeah.
And guilt about things. So I thought it was great the way they tied that all together. And being of the same body shape as Thor, I can totally understand the depression and anxiety and stuff that goes along with that. It's very much a physical thing, like so. And I think he's gonna. Don't worry, guys. He's gonna lose launch and stuff and get more in shape for the Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna bring the character around back to. Yeah.
Yeah, and I hear a lot of, well, I say a lot, but I hear, negative voices always spring to the surface. So I saw an article posted about Thor's fat shaming, and they were saying damn Marvel. I'm like, well, one person thought that, but I mean, every time he gets in shape and he takes his shirt off, aren't you both fat shaming because he's too thin / objectifying men? I mean, all these things are problematic. The woman's too powerful woman, the men are, there's too many white males. I mean, everything's a problem, but it's not meant to be that. It's a funny joke. The fat doesn't define him. It's a symptom.
No.
Like, he got fat because he's just the fat ruler king. Okay. Didn't stop him. He got, he has PTSD, he got over it, and he fought at the end, and he was awesome. Okay. I mean, I think Natasha also had that some like white hair as well. She got looked aged a bit, and Hawkeye murders people in cold blood. Where's the hating him for that? No one cared. Because it's just part of the story. A bit weird part of the story.
It made his character better than just being Arrow Boy. At least he can actually do other things now.
Although a bit weird, it's just like, I'm just gonna murder everyone, and no one seems to care.
Well, he turned into the Punisher essentially.
Yeah. Just a slightly weird side story. Like, it doesn't really go anywhere, and he's not that dark because of it. He stays very centered.
and that ties in later with the whole whether him or Natasha with the Soul Stone, who they've both killed people. They both, he's lost his family now, so he wants to sacrifice himself, and So.
But yeah, Thor's good. Thor's fun, and he has a good arc. I mean, you can tell he had a lot of fun playing the part. His stuff in Asgard's really good. I'm sad Natalie Portman didn't get a real scene, because that would have been nice. Although who really cares? But also it would have been nice. And then I didn't even register the mum as a character in the first two films. I think someone to count. She had more lines, like 1.5 times more lines in this film than she had in her 3 other films. Or 2 other films. It's like, yep.
And those interactions were awesome. You're not my Thor. Oh, yes, I am. I was raised by witches. I can see what's going on. I'm totally from the future. And then the last line is just epic. Eat a salad. There was a good mix of humor in this movie that I really appreciated.
It was really well timed. Yeah. And they embraced what they could embrace. Yeah.
All right, so where are we?
So they got Thor now, and they're doing the time travel. So I guess we're in there. They're going to go time travel places, and the plan.
Oh yeah, this is where they find out where all the Infinity Stones are and when, in their own timelines. They find out that there's 3 in New York at one time, and they do the teams, and that whole montage of deciding what was where, and the storytelling of this is Jane. We used to be a thing.
That was good. And then my mum died, and then my dad died, then Asgard died, and then I killed Thanos, but then everyone else died. Yeah, it's just fun. Yeah.
He's been through some shit. He has every right to kind of feel the way he does, I think.
And like I said yesterday, all parent issues.
Yes.
It's always the parents that suffer for the sins of the writers.
It makes more interesting characters if your parents, yeah.
And yeah, but I love the Avengers 1. So going back to the first one, which is the first truest celebration of the Avengers, makes sense. You also had going back to Guardians 1. You also had going back to, just Soulstone Place, wherever. That was just whenever you wanted to go to. And what was the other one? I guess Asgard in Thor 2, but that was also kind of underplayed. It was more just like, look, we're here, moving on.
Yeah.
It was really more about the Avengers specifically.
with the sludge. So people should stop calling it a stone.
Yeah, yeah, that was always weird. That was always weird. But like I said, I mean, do you like going back to Avengers 1? I mean, are you a fan of the first Avengers?
Yes and no.
Oh.
I don't know. That's the scene that they showed where the camera pans around everybody and everybody follows. Their eye line follows like above the camera. It's like, what are you looking at? Like you're standing in the middle of this,
Oh, the
and the way
Chitauri flying.
Natasha's like,
I got 9 bullets. Hope that's enough.
Yeah, because that's all her power is. Yeah, exactly.
I can shoot people.
I don't know. It was, and I love when movies do that though. I love the time travel aspect. I love the parallel, same scenes from different angles.
Yeah.
Was good. There's a lot of goodness that came from as a result of that. So
that's why I say it's very much embracing its heritage rather than its own film, because it's almost like a fan film in a sense. It's like, oh, I'd love to go back and do that moment again.
It's Back to the Future 2 is what this movie is.
Yeah, which is they sort of mention they can't do it, and they sort of do it. Although I think it's a fine balance. They really don't play off old scenes so much as just general times, because the Guardians bit is an obvious play off, but then just hits him and moves on, never reference again. It's more about the fact that Thanos, that's the Thanos. Okay, that's interesting, and you get to see the true Gamora, Nebula, and him relationship, which you never really got to see before, because Gamora was always on mission when you saw her, and then changed team. Avengers 1, you get to see a few bits of them from the movie, but it's really about the new stuff, which is nice to show they can still look as young. And see, Thor is thin and long hair. I mean, he does. So I feel like the fat is makeup and CGI.
Oh yeah, it is. It's a bodysuit or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other one, Soul Stone, that's just whatever it is. And then what was the other one we keep? And then Thor 2 could have been more done with Thor 2, I think. With that stone, very easy, very whatever. Didn't need to be, but.
Yeah. I'm kind of discombobulated as to where we are in the story, because I have seen it twice, but since all the time traveling, it's like, what happens next?
We're at the Iron Man, Ant-Man, Captain America plan to get the Tesseract, and Hulk trying to get the Time Stone, because the Ancient One is destroying Chitauri in the battle, which is, Pil wonders, like, well, where is she? Nice gentle retcon there. I mean, what do you think of their plan to steal the Tesseract before they even,
It's a great plan, but I love how Tony's like, the future or the time has a way of kicking you in the ass if you mess with it. And because his past self told Hulk to not take the elevator or to take the stairs, that kind of kicked future Stark in the ass a little bit. It was really well done. And Ant-Man, like, are you sure this sounds dangerous? Sounds like it might kill you. No, trust me, it's fine. Having a mild heart attack.
That's foreshadowing for the fact that he dies. So that was clever.
Yeah, there was another great foreshadow moment too. That comes later when he's talking to his dad. And the conversation about, I hope my son's a better man than I am, because all I have is self-interest and all this.
Yeah.
Jonathan Davies puts in 2 pounds. Professor Hulk going Roth instead of Rar. Yeah. Hulk smash hits the car and kicks the motorcycle.
Pretty entertaining. Yeah. This movie is genuinely very entertaining.
Oh yes.
Like I say, in IMAX 3D, it's going to be a whole different experience, certainly. But I like the heist. I like the time heist. I do think I agree with someone else that said that is the most interesting part of the movie, probably, and they could have done more with that. Slightly more, because that's like anything you can do with that, and they did a lot with it. But then they also didn't. Like, you cut out 10 minutes of the first bit, you cut out a little bit of the battle, make it less just CGI with CGI, give us maybe a bit more intricate partial bit of a heist into a different movie. Although I will say I love the fact they fail the Tesseract. I love that, and Loki disappears, which is like, oh my god. And they have to go back, double back. Oh, that was great.
Yeah. creates another alternate dimension or timeline for sure, which never gets really cleared up yet. It's going to show up in another movie. I guarantee we're going to see more of Loki for sure.
Did you not think it was weird that Loki can touch the stone and teleport? If it's that easy, why was he doing that? Like, why has no one ever done that before except Thanos when it's in his glove? Like, if you can just touch it and use it, like, that's a really useful ability. And he's had the Tesseract in Avengers 1. If he can use it to teleport, and maybe he was, we didn't see it, but it felt like it was just like, ooh. It's like, what? What? So why could you do that?
Yeah.
I don't know, it just occurred to me.
Yeah, it seemed a little odd. And also the fact that nobody can touch one of the Infinity Stones, yet later when Hawkeye gets the Soul Stone that's in his hand, even though he's wearing a glove. But
no, that's different because he earns it. He pays the price, so that it chose him, it allowed him. I agree, but that's specifically addressed.
Okay, fine then. When Thanos takes one of the stones out of the glove to like knock I forget who he knocks off. Was it
Captain Marvel?
Was it Oh yeah, and then puts it back in the gauntlet. I thought that was kind of an odd choice, but anyway.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, he was also wearing the power glove, and it energized him already. So I mean, his cells were already used to it. I mean, we know Quill could hold it. I mean, you just need to be an amazing power to hold it. He is an amazing power. He's also currently got them in him. So I mean, he's not. He's sort of used to it a little bit. And he is
okay, I'll buy that.
It's why I can buy Asgardians can hold them. I could buy Thor holding it without, because the Tesseract is a container. That's how you can hold it, because it's a container. But I could still buy Thor. Loki could hold it without. Maybe not Loki because he's a frost creature, but Thor could. But they obviously need the scepter and things to do it properly. But I love that they have to go back in time, and go back to Captain America's time, and they get to see his dad. That was, I mean, I called it as soon as he did. I was like, oh, they're going to see Stark. But that was nice. Like, that's such a scene, again, franchise scene, closure scene. Oh, hello? Hello?
Yeah, I'm back now. I heard some of that.
Yeah, it's such a nice scene to meet his dad, although I thought it made his dad look a bit dumb, because his dad didn't for one second think, this is an imposter on our base. He's meant to be the most smart guy in the world, and he didn't for once. I get the whole.
He had other things on his. He had other things on his mind. His wife was pregnant, and that'll discombobulate anybody.
It's true. I was just waiting for him to say something, kind of like,
"Yeah,
are you meant to be here?"
A lot of people said that scene in particular, where he was talking to his dad, really slowed the movie down for them. I thought it was just what it needed at that point.
Yeah.
I thought it was really well done. I didn't have a complaint with that, but a lot of people have complained about the pacing issue with that scene.
No, it was a calm before a storm. You can't have action. That was we had the awesome Avengers live back. It's not flashback. Yeah. That's a gentle calm, and then you have non-stop action. I was absolutely fine with that, and it was rewarding. I've never known I want to see that.
And Jarvis, the Jarvis that they use is from the Agent Carter TV series.
Never saw.
Yeah, neither did I. But it's like the only one that made the transition from TV over to the movies, so it's important to point that out. So.
And obviously him seeing Peggy from across the thing that she's got a picture of him on her desk. It's nice. Although again, I thought, she moved on anyway, so it's a bit weird, but no, it was nice. It was although, and then those people seemed to say, "Yay, we saw young Hank Pym." I'm like, okay,
yeah,
good.
Again, that was just their de-aging was really well done. Their CG de-aging was really good there. So,
but having the character added nothing. Like, of course he should be there, but like, I just heard a comment saying, "Yeah, he's in the movie." I'm like, okay. Because for me, I barely know the actor. He's just an actor to me. He's not anyone famous. Although I know he is, but to me, he's not. So it's just like, yep. He looks as young as he's meant to in that time period. Just
a quick scene, too, because you see him running down the hall, which is obviously not him. It's just somebody in a wig. Oh, yeah. But whatever.
Yeah, didn't waste the money on CGIing his running face, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Cap steals the... no, wait, what does Cap do? Oh,
Cap steals the Pym particles.
Yes.
And when you see the original Ant-Man helmet on the table as they pan by from the comics, the big one with the antenna.
Oh, I didn't even notice it. I heard it was
Yeah, you'll
there,
notice it second time.
Okay. Yeah.
That was a nice touch.
Yeah. Tesseract was too easy to get, though, in my opinion. He just opens it, takes it, and again, I know that wasn't important to the scene, but like Stark would know this is really important, so why would he not flinch at a random guy stealing?
I was acting kind of funny. Yeah. I love how
Next
Tony
to
left.
the Tesseract.
I love how Tony left his briefcase on the chair though, and he's like, "You need your briefcase." Yeah. So it's like it kind of diffuses the whole situation. He wasn't like clinging to it, like it looks suspicious. He was like absent-mindedly just leaving it there.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know whether that was on purpose or just because he was shocked to see his dad. But the fact that his dad gave it back to him kind of diffuses all suspicion from the moment. So I kind of like that.
That's true. So in a sense, Tony Stark's dad saved the galaxy. So you got him to remember the briefcase.
Yes. I love how later when he's talking to his dad and Steve Rogers is waiting, he's like, "Yeah, I got it. Yeah, chill." That was nice. Beast was an Avenger for a while in the comics. We should bring out the Agent Carter.
Oh, he's gone for a second again. Oh, Stuart, where are you? Where are you? We're talking Endgame, Stuart. Doobie-doo. 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 Doobie-doo-doo-doo-doo. That was a very Marty McFly dad moment. It was. It was. That's a good movie in general. Gosh, where's he gone? Yes, but guys, let us know what you think of the movie. And please do super chat. We're currently kind of half. Maybe we would like to be. Maybe another $40 would be great. So we can hit a sort of up our average for this week, which is a bit low. Bit of a low one. But we've got some exciting. Oh, he's gone. We've got some exciting things happening next week. And the week after, so that'll be fun. New shows in development as always, as we like to do. Let's wait for Stuart to call me back. He froze it was Thanos. I do not think it was. Must feel strange for Michael Douglas to see himself young in a modern film. Yes, they all say that. And I've said before, one of my favourite things in these films and modern day is that we can de-age people. I love that ability with absolute passion, because you allow people to be back in their prime, and not just that, but deliver performances from a different context. You know, the best one example is the Star Wars films. I mean, Mark Hamill's young Luke. You know, you can flashback into a different era and tell an important story. There's so many important stories you could tell with young versions of these characters, whereas in old days, you know, had to do makeup or hire, you know, young doubles and such. So it's really important to be able to do that, and the seamless nature of it in Captain Marvel was absolutely amazing. Yeah, just really, really cool. And I can't wait to see it improve, and you know, teenage people, you know, young Thor would be cool. And Stuart might be back.
I'm back, baby.
Hi, Stuart.
The internet completely died because they're doing work at the end of our street on the fiber lines and stuff. And ever since they started it last week, the internet's been sketchy, like very sketchy. So it completely dropped out. I apologize.
Well, you have all the resolutions right now, so good job.
Sweet. So did you get the super chats?
Didn't. I just got it as you phoned in.
Both of them?
Oh, didn't you read two?
Well, Jonathan Davies puts in £2 and says, "Young Hank Pym equals Streets of San Francisco." LOL. That's another movie that he's started, obviously. And T-Berg Sci-Fi Fan puts in $10 Canadian.
Yes.
And says, "Ta-da!"
Yes,
thank
you.
I don't know what the ta-da is for. The ta-da was there before I came back.
Yes.
So it's not for me returning.
No, I mentioned the super chats and just reminded people, like, hey, if you want to give, and then he ta-da'd. I
forget what I was talking about when I died, because you were frozen with your arm up like this.
As I'm still.
And I was talking, and it's like, hello. And Sylvie's like, yeah, no, there's no internet, and I'm like, ah, man.
Good timing though. We're over 3/4 done, so. Yeah, guys, what was he talking about? You were paying attention because I focused about the problem. So what was he talking about, Stuart? No, you're not.
I don't know, because I talked for a good minute or two before I realized that there was an issue. I thought you were being really still.
You know. We were no, stop it. No, because we were on his dad, but we moved past his dad. What was the thing after his dad?
Oh, that's what I think I was saying. I like the moment when they're outside talking, and Steve Rogers is standing there by the Jeep, and Tony's like, yeah, I got it, relax. That was kind of nice. And the fact that he gives him a hug.
Yeah.
You want to hug your dad, and it's like, thank you for all you've done for our country. It's kind of like,
yeah,
that's weird.
I mean, who could possibly? I mean, that sort of second chance. It just, and especially since he's grown as a person, that he always didn't resent his dad, but there was problems with him and his dad, and so he's basically become his dad, give or take. You
tend to do that, unfortunately.
Yeah. And so he understands it in a far greater way, and so he's able to appreciate and it's really rewarding. I mean, I kind of wish he'd spill the beans. It would have, although it wouldn't destroy the timeline because it's a different timeline, but almost would have been kind of sweet. Although now they could just go back and see him if they really wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they make 3 billion, 4 billion for this movie, and they say, Robert Downey Jr., could we have flashback you with PIM particles? We'll pay you 180 million because out of our profit budget from the last film. And he's like, that's 3 times what I had last time. Sure, why not? Because if you've got time travel, why couldn't you? That's always time travel is such a big
and multiverse.
Multiverse.
The multiverse opens up a whole new can of worms.
Although it means that this next phase is going to be far less grounded. You go back to the quaint old ones, and now you're going to get these really intricate ones, and it's like, multiverse is a big game changer, because then you can have 3 Thors in one room. You can have female Thor. You can have all these things, which is great, but multiverse is a big thing. Well, then question: Did Thanos kill half people in all the multiverses?
Well, that's something you just can't answer.
Well, I think Jake Gyllenhaal will in the film, but yes, I think that'll be part of it.
I'm tempted to say no.
I would say no too. Yeah.
Unless he had knowledge of the multiverses, then he would have.
Yeah.
But I don't think he had that knowledge.
I don't know.
And speaking of, this is kind of where the Nebula thing comes in, where her past Nebula self is linked with the current one's
Wi-Fi.
Which so they get a whole recap of the plan, and it's like, really now Thanos is on the same page as everybody. And I thought when that happened, I was like, oh geez, here we go. It's so simple. Just take her out of the equation. I hate the character anyway. Would have made a better movie. They could have just fixed things and been done. I hate conflict. I hate when things happen in movies like that.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it didn't need a villain of the film, really. Fixing the world was enough of a villain. Have more high stuff. Have more, because you've got villains in your individual timeline. So fight the.
Yeah, they were their own villains because Captain America fought Captain America. Just avoiding their other selves to get the stones is enough of a.
Because I liked the idea of young Thanos knowing. It was very smartly done in terms of 1, 2, 3 logic, but then instantly, if the premise is don't affect the timeline, well, now he knows about the timeline. It's now irreparably ruined. They create a little problem straight out the gate there.
This is no time to talk about time.
No,
we don't have the time. No. We only have half an hour left.
Yes. Well, yeah, 23 minutes. But it's like I said before, he's so underdeveloped. Then that version of him is so much weaker than the other version of him that it felt weird to go back, literally and figuratively, to just a punching bag, who we've already defeated. Well, who won and then didn't have an army. But it's a weird reversal. That's that he's more vicious.
Yeah, and he doesn't have to. He didn't have the patience or the the knowledge or the seasoning to acquire the stones. He just waited until they were all gathered in one place, and a younger version of himself, who's always more aggressive, more cocky, more whatever, takes over, which I didn't really appreciate, to be fair. And like I said earlier, he seems way overpowered. Like, I understand he's part god or completely, I don't know, but really taking on multiple Avengers at the same time and being that without any help either. It bugged me.
Well, we're almost there. We're almost there. But do we have more super chats, Stuart?
Yes, good tea, nice house. Puts in $5 Canadian. Shame on you, Samuel, for not thinking Michael Douglas is famous. Tisk tisk. Shame, shame, shame.
It's not quite what I said.
No, he said he knew he was famous. He just doesn't really know anything that he's been in, which is fine.
One film I like he's been in is the like lone man one where he's just walking home and the entire film and he kills people and he does a rocket and he destroys things. That was fun.
So, Falling Down. That's a good movie.
Yeah, it's weird, but it's fun. But he looks so different that I didn't connect the two, because why would you? I mean, literally 1993, so that's 26 years old. But I like him in I'm actually scrolling through his IMDb now, and I don't. Oh, Romance in the Stone. Oh, I like Romance in the Stone. Wow, it's 84. That's why. Damn, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of shit.
I don't recognize most of it.
Well, if you grew up in the 80s, you would.
Yeah,
you're too young.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Plus,
that's what makes it interesting, because we have different perspectives on things.
Mm-hmm.
So where are we? Nebula plan revealed. We've also got. Speaking of Nebula, we got her and War Machine taking care of. And I love the fact that you hear the music from the beginning of the Guardians of the Galaxy, where he's dancing around and kicking the things, and then you hear it from their point of view, where he's just singing to himself. He's like, so he's an idiot. Because really, you look like a fool when you're singing to yourself and only you can hear the music. I thought that was a great take on that scene. I love that.
Well, I wondered. I can't imagine they really refilmed that scene. They rebuilt the entire set, refilmed it again just to film. I imagine they must have filmed those shots at the time, because they would film wides. Why wouldn't they? And they just green screened them in. Because they're very expensive. Because there's no battle in that bit, and the bit in the chamber they rebuilt obviously. But I don't think they would have had to literally the entire Guardians 1 intro, because Chris wasn't in it until the end. It'd be weird to bring him for that bit as well.
You have to look at Chris in that scene though, because I thought the same thing. Like, it was just unused footage, but he's more out of shape now. Okay. He's got more of a paunch. There's a scene from the side later where you see his stomach, and he's like not as fit as he was in the first Guardians movie. Well, and you can see it in his face a little bit in that scene. At least one of them. I think there were a few that might have been reused, but
pickups they had to do to fill in the gaps, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Well, I know that I watched a red carpet interview with him because it was just about him being a good guy, and they said for this film, all the primary cast had lots of press. He didn't. He's not in the film really, so he didn't have every press tour. So he just got to sit and watch TV as everyone else went on press, and so he didn't. I mean, if he's only in it for 7 shots. You don't need to have 8 weeks of intensive workout, do you? So you're right, but obviously he still comes in for 2 or 3 days and does those bits.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was fun, really easy, but it was also really easy in Guardians.
I love how he's like, whoa, don't go in there. This is where the spikes in the wall with the skeletons attached to them come out. This is the Indiana Jones moment. So that was nice.
But I didn't remember the start of Guardians 1 if something was going to happen, because I just remember people coming in and trying to shoot him. Was there spikes or anything at the start of Guardians 1?
I don't think so. I'm like you, I don't remember necessarily. I'll have to go back and watch.
Now that's pretty much the end of the time. Oh, the Soul Stone, obviously, I guess, and that was both good and bad for me, because it just recycled all the same beats from Thanos's, which I liked initially, but now in retrospect, I don't like it, 'cause it's just the same feeling.
Yeah, well, I agree with that. I love how it was like, we can't decide which one it's going to be, so he jumps, she saves.
That was fun.
Like, really?
Well, it's yeah.
Hawkeye died, but whatever.
Yeah.
But I really had no issue either way.
Yeah, he made more sense in that moment, but in retro, he only had stuff to lose if he knew he was going to get it back. where she had nothing to lose either way, per se. You know.
Yeah. I just love how it's the Red Skull that is in charge of the Soul Stone. Like, how did that happen? First of all, I don't understand that storyline. But then later, when Steve Rogers has to return the Soul Stone, I saw this meme on Facebook where, you know how whenever they approach, they're like, you know, so and so, son of so and so, and he says who your father is and all that. There's a scene of Steve Rogers walking up there, and he goes, "Ah, Steve Rogers, son of a bitch, you're still alive." I want to know how that happened, how that interaction happened, and then if you return the Soul Stone, do you get a soul returned to you? Because it's the soul for a soul. It's a soul for a soul. Why not? Come on now. But
just him dead.
Him encountering the Red Skull would be interesting on its own. I want to see that movie. I want to see him returning.
That's a movie, yeah.
Yeah, I want to see him returning all the stones.
I think Cap 1 is a relatively dull film, and Red Skull is incredibly dull in it. Just so vanilla. He's only interesting to me now he's this cosmic ghost.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. It wasn't. Why was his face red? Why did he pull his skin off and it was red underneath?
Well, there's a story from the comics. I don't know.
But it's not in. It's not in the movie. It's not. No. It's so weird and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, so that was. But I liked the battle. I liked their fighting to die, but to sacrifice and to win. And it's, you know, in terms of an ending, it's certainly a good ending for her. You know, she does save part of the universe. And
now,
yes,
I had a question too about Thor's Stormbringer. The handle was made from Groot. Groot disappeared in the snap. Wouldn't the handle have disappeared? Why not?
Well, it's not part of him anymore.
Well, I don't.
Well, it's been fused with electricity into a thing. Otherwise, that would be a lot of things that would not exist. Because then, by the same logic, Stuart, not to be a bit gruesome, but everyone, if your mum died, you'd die too because you were once part of her. So it's got people as separate entities.
Fine.
There you go.
But no, that did happen because Hawkeye's wife died, and so did all the kids. Because they're all.
But that was just unfortunate luck.
Okay.
That was just piss poor luck, like the worst luck. Yes. But then we get. Someone points out the Captain America vs. Captain America fight. Yep, it's fun.
That was great. Yeah, I found Loki.
Yeah. Very natural. Which is good.
And in the whole, I can do this all day. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really well done.
I thought the butt joke was a bit weird, but apparently that's an in-joke to how Chris Evans didn't like his suit in Captain America 1. And so it's a meta joke. Yeah. Which I just thought was weird, but okay.
Well, I got to say, when Tony Stark says, you know, what's up with the suit, and he says, you didn't have to look. The next is like from the back again. You see Black Widow, and she looks good in her pants. So, but it wasn't pointed out. But I thought I'd point it out for you guys.
I'll have to look in IMAX. See an ass that's 50 feet big on screen.
There's nothing wrong with that. Ian Warrender puts in £5.
Oh,
I hope everyone is having fun and being generous. I won't be watching this, so say anything you'd like about me. Keep up the amazing work. Ian, we love you.
Yes.
Sorry you're not going to watch it. Watch it later if you haven't seen the movie. I don't know if that's why you're not watching it.
He's awesome.
And Jeff Jacobs puts in $5.
Yeah, Jeff too.
Captain America did end up getting to spend a lifetime with his true love. Perhaps the soul he got back was his own. Oh my God, that's so poetic. Makes me want to vomit. But yeah, I'll buy that for a Soul Stone return. Sure.
Yeah.
He got all selfish at the end. Like I said, Iron Man and Captain America parallels are interesting because Iron Man starts out selfish, and Captain America obviously isn't. He's jumping on grenades and all this in the beginning, and at the end, it's a role reversal. You know, Captain America does something selfish for himself, and Tony Stark sacrifices himself for everybody. So, I love the way they handle those two characters, and they've intertwined throughout all these movies. Also, maybe Stormbringer might be protecting Groot's armor. Yeah, I'd buy that. Sure. I just thought it was something I thought when I watched Infinity War. I'm like, oh yeah, so it's part of Groot. Why didn't disappear? But
There's too many questions with that. I get it, but there's too much.
fine.
Yeah.
You know what? Fine.
Although speaking of,
Yes.
it's one of the best little teeniest like genius about being genius, that Thor steals Mjolnir from himself, and then gets double hammer, and then gives his hammer to Captain America, who's now worthy. What
Well, that scene was awesome.
I mean, they're just all satisfying. Although it's a bit weird that Captain America can call lightning, because as we saw in Thor Ragnarok, it's not the hammer that does that, it's the Thor. And now it's not the Thor, it's just the hammer.
That's interesting.
That was the entire point of that movie. You didn't need the hammer to create lightning. But so I didn't buy that for a second, that Cap could do that. Like, I guess you could argue maybe Thor like channeled some of his energy into it, but like, he's just a dude with super serum. He can't call lightning from nowhere.
Speaking of, passing on the mantle of Captain America to Falcon. Big deal. You got a shield. You're now Captain America. Whoop-de-doo. You don't have the super soldier serum. All you got is wings.
He'll be dead next movie. No, he won't. But
it's you're passing on the. You're passing on the shield. You're passing on a symbol. He's in no way Captain America. He can't tangle with aliens like Thanos and like fist to fist because he's not super soldiered up. I just thought that was stupid. See, Bucky would have made a lot more sense because Bucky's got the soldier serum as well. But that also has his issues because Bucky's lived 100 years and hasn't aged because the super soldier serum doesn't age you. Yet Captain America is super aged. So how long has he lived?
Well,
has it only been since the 40s, or has he?
Well, no, the serum is different because Bucky is not the same serum. It's a thing within a thing. It's Hydra. It's faulty. It did different things.
But even in Captain America, it said it'll slow his aging.
Oh, sure. Yeah. But, I mean, you know.
So.
I don't know, maybe chose to be older. I don't know.
It's from a multiverse, so it's all the different dimensions.
To be fair, what he could do is just go to... I mean, cause if he's going back to the 40s when there's also Stark there, he could go to Stark. I mean, that's how he repaired the shield, because the shield was destroyed, although... Or either stole that universe's shield, or he repaired his own shield. Neither quite works. But he could ask Tony to undo the de-aging thing. I mean, if you research it long enough, I'm sure you could turn off the metabolic thing inside Cap's body that stops him from aging, or stops him from not aging, and they could age naturally. Because it'd be sad to live with your 90-year-old wife and you look like you're 40. It's like that would suck a little bit, just for the two of you, not necessarily for you yourself. But yeah, Falcon. I like Falcon a lot more than Winter Soldier, Bucky. He was really good in Captain America 2. He's been fine other things, like he's a more interesting character. For me, I don't like Bucky pretty much at all. In Winter Soldier, when it was revealed as Bucky, I was like, who is Bucky? I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's only through flashbacks. Yeah. It's like, oh, he was that random guy in the first film that died. I don't know. He was not like, I didn't remember him at all being focused on at all. So for me, it was like they just picked a random actor to bring back. I was so uninterested. And he's a very dull character. He's like, oh, I was an assassin. Like, he services the plots he's in, but for me, he's probably the most boring of them all, maybe? And so he was Cap, I'd like, okay, that's not exciting. At least the other guy is a hero, he gets it, he's had trials, he's earned it through his own
he's
story.
Been... Yeah, and he's been Cap in the comics as well, but some people have speculated that because the old Captain America is from a different reality, a different multiverse, he actually gave Bucky the Captain America mantle in a different multiverse on his way to this one. So there's a Bucky Captain America somewhere else. With the multiverse thing, it just opens up so many possibilities as to what's happened. And with the old Cap not making sense in this timeline, he has to come from one of the other ones. So I'm sure it'll be cleared up in another movie, hopefully.
Yes.
So anyway,
yeah.
Battle.
But you're right. I mean, it's a spiritual thing. But what are they going to say? Right, because Cap chose you, we're going to inject you with dangerous serum that may or may not work. Because obviously it hasn't, it worked once or twice, but they haven't used it for the last 50, 60 years, 70 years. But he's not capable of being it on his own without it.
He's nothing special. He's just got the wings.
Yeah, I mean, he's great at the wings, and he can use them very effectively, but...
And a vibranium shield now. Which goes back to the whole Thanos being too powerful, because he was decimating Cap's shield. He knocks pieces off that shield, and it's vibranium. It's seriously... I don't buy it.
Well, but it's the same as Thor's sister destroying Thor's hammer. It's like, oh, you can't do that. Well, certain people can do certain things,
Yeah.
I mean, no one really questioned that particularly. Well, it's like Thanos shouldn't be able to destroy this. Well, I wouldn't have written that the stones can destroy themselves with themselves. Like, these things are too powerful to be destroyed ever. Not even with themselves. I find that unlikely. Or too easy. Like, these things started at the universal start.
Yeah. That's what goes back to what I said earlier. Some of the things in this movie are just too easy, too lazy, too convenient.
Yeah.
Bill might put in $1. Well, he did put in $1, even though he might still put in another $1. Bill might get it. Come on now. Thank you, Bill. Much appreciated. All right, so we're at the battle now, are we?
Well, very, very close. They get back in the present. Nebula's baddie. We all knew that. We all saw it coming. Whatever. And then they make the new gauntlet. It's a Tony Stark gauntlet, which was interesting. Nanite gauntlet. That I thought was...
It should be pointed out, too, that Thanos destroyed the world with a left-handed glove. The one they used to restore it was a right-handed glove. And it goes to the whole... Back in the day, left-handed people were considered evil or whatever. They were taught to use the right hand because right-handed was... It's the way it was. So I just thought that was interesting. Worth pointing out.
Didn't notice it. Thank you for the point out. So I had a slight problem with how easy it was to build a new Infinity Gauntlet. Literally out of Tony Stark's stuff instantly. I mean, there's no research. They probably researched it in between, but it was like, oh, it can do this now. Like, these are the Infinity Stones. One stone can kill anybody it touches. How the fuck can modern human tech have all 5 be fine? That seemed silly to me. That said, someone pointed out that because it took dwarven dinklage to build a thing, and it took the entire power of a sun.
Yeah,
and that's what it took, and yet he can make one out of nanites. But he pointed out someone out there pointed out that sort of yes and no. Harnessing them isn't the problem. What happened with the glove that was bad, it killed Tony. Boom. The Infinity Gauntlet is designed to let you use them without killing the person inside the gauntlet. After the first snap, the gauntlet is fried, Thanos is fine. It's only with the second snap to destroy the stones that Thanos gets hurt, and that's a very different effect. So
that's very interesting. Yeah, I never noticed that.
Because obviously Thanos doesn't want to die, so that's why it took the power of a sun to build something that was effective versus one-off harness. Because I mean, Hulk gets very badly injured.
Yeah.
And that's Hulk. And obviously killed Tony. So I can see that being, it was easy because the science made sense, but the power level still hurts you. And Hulk can't die. That's kind of the whole point. He just can't die. I don't know if he could ever die.
And Bill Might puts in $2.
Oh, thank you.
Bill might put in $2. Oh, wait, he did. And he says, or I will send $2. I don't know if the will in that comment is a play on your name, Bill, which is also be Will, which is William. Wow, we're just getting very meta with our super chats now.
Yes.
Bill might put in more.
Thank you.
No, I never thought about that with the gauntlet. I like that though, because Hulk was pretty messed up after doing that. Yeah.
But I can imagine that. I mean, it's Wakanda tech, and it's not as if they haven't scanned Infinity Stones, pretty much all of them, for years. So I mean, it's not as if they're going random, and it does still kill, although it gets 2 snaps out of it. No, just 1. Wait, no 2. Well, technically 1, because Tony builds a second one. So technically
he doesn't
1.
Build a second one. He steals them with nanites. Which...
No, I know, but Thanos is still wearing the one that snapped originally. So he had to build a new version of it. So it's still technically a different... So who knows if the second snap would even have worked. It could have been burned out on 1. Anyway. But
him getting the stones that way with the nanites was a little bit odd for me, but whatever.
Yeah, that was a we have to end it right now sort of vibe. But they go into the present. They're all happy. They do the snap. Hulk brings everyone back. And nothing happens. Which is fine.
There are birds outside. There are more birds outside.
Yeah.
And Hawkeye's wife calls him instantly.
Yes.
Because he's paid her phone bill for 5 years, apparently.
Or they're on the Stark plan. I mean...
Whatever. Maybe, the special Avengers plan, fine. I'll buy it. That should have been the ringtone.
Yeah.
The music beats in this movie were awesome. I really love that Avengers theme, and the way they used it was very, very well done.
It's very stirring.
Yeah.
So then, Nebula gets Thanos into the present and his entire ship. This bit lost me a bit. I was like, you really, movie? What did you think?
I wasn't sure how it happened. Don't they need Pym particles? I mean, maybe they have some somehow. Because she had them. And I don't know. And they shrunk the other ship. They shrunk the other ship before they went into the past because it was in dude's hand, and he's like, "You take care of that ship." I don't know how it happened.
Did it take you out of it though?
Them. It just pissed me off. The whole Nebula thing pissed me off, and when that happened, it's like, okay, they got to. Of course they got to do this. They can't just have a happy ending. No, it's got to be some. Yeah, it pissed me off more than anything. It didn't take me out of it. It just annoyed me. And how is it that Ant-Man didn't die during that initial blast? Because he was standing right in front of the window, and all of a sudden,
yes,
and he flies back. He had his helmet off and everything. He would be toasted.
Although apparently, it's actually in the film, but you can actually see him shrink for like 3 frames in the movie. So it's so I mean, he shrinks. And also you can imagine that if he's Pym particling, the matter of the explosion doesn't quite hit him at the subatomic. So that's it. It's fun that it's there. Yeah, so as soon as Thanos comes in, I really kind of lost me for a few minutes because they explicitly say 1 particle, 1 return, Nebula's back. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
But that said, Thanos, Mr. Godman, super powerful person, are we really saying that Pym particles he can't backward engineer? That only the mighty Hank Pym of Earth can develop them? Like, really? I wish.
Well, that's what Ant-Man said earlier in the movie. You know, there's no more Pym particles because Pym's gone.
On Earth, like, why couldn't Thanos? So that's the only way to explain that he just made more, which I'm fine with. But they need to say that, you know. Like I said this to someone else. Actually, I said as soon as he sees the particles, he's like, oh, the M32 particle, child's play.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice. It just seemed really easy, and the fact that the ship is so shrunk and comes out looks so stupid visually. It's massive. I know it can shrink, but it's like, it's a bit. It feels very forced that moment to me. We need a villain. Well, let's bring Thanos from the past. Could have been done better, in my opinion.
Yeah. Good tea, nice house. Puts in $10 Canadian. Thank you very much. Hopefully you do have good tea and a nice house. Maybe one day I'll find out. Invite me over for tea sometime. Anyway, so 5 years pass since Infinity War. Peter Parker is brought back to life. He goes back to high school, runs into his best friend Ned Leeds, who is not only aged but is still in high school. What the fuck? Well, it could be that he was one of the people that was affected by the snap and was returned as well. So of course he's got to go to high school. I love how Peter's like, a woman wasn't feeling good, and all of a sudden Doctor Strange is there saying it's 5 years later. So it's like nothing's happened for them. It's been instantaneous. So
yeah, it is a weird. It's one of those things that need a slightly more explanation lines. like 5 more throughout the film. But I mean, it's easy that just everyone in the main cast of Spider-Man was also snapped. I mean, it's 50%. It's random, so everyone snapped. Obviously, not all the teachers. Like his friends, he comes back. Okay, it's like he's not in the same class anymore. Like it's changed a bit. The world's changed, but he's still got Lucky, all his friends, and Mary Jane's. I mean, it's just they're all snapped too. I mean, it's half the world. It's 4 billion people. I'm fine to say his 7 friends all died. Like it's not the 50% of all people. Maybe they're the only 8 of his class that died. What a coincidence. Oh well. So I'm not. But it needed something. Like if he'd gone to Ned and said, Ned, or whatever his name is, you were snapped too. I guess. There you go. Something, but Far From Home will explain all that stuff because it'll have to give us a really deep intro. Because
I'm looking forward to seeing that for sure.
Well, I mean, someone said have Aunt May now be 5 years older from what was presented as a way too young, hot young thing into a less young, hot middle-aged thing. Well, that makes sense. Give it because she's got 5 years now. Why not? That'd be an interesting dynamic.
Would she be considered a MILF?
I don't know. Tony would assume so. I don't know.
Well, I would too. I don't know what I'm getting. Anyway. So, now we're at the battle.
Yes, the boss battle, because we needed a battle like that.
Yeah, so, basically, Thanos comes down, sits down, and says, go get me the Infinity Stones. I'm going to sit here and, chill out.
That was funny.
And then, Thor, Captain America, and Tony, they all, walk up and take pock shots at him. And, of course, he's way too powerful. Breaks the vibranium shield. Fights all these people off. Bullshit. But whatever.
Was it not a cool fight, though? Did you not enjoy it, visually?
It was a cool fight. It was very cool. Same with Infinity War. The battles in that are really epically cool. But I just don't buy it. You can be super powerful and strong, but if you're being attacked by multiple enemies from multiple different directions, you're gonna I don't know. I just didn't buy it. If anything, that took me out of it. It's and the vibranium shield being smashed to pieces. It's really stop.
So it was very jarring when he just destroyed their entire complex. It's an instant tonal shift that comes out of nowhere. It's really sudden. It's way too sudden, I think. It's very and then everyone's hurt and everyone has to get him out and all that shit. And this is what I said to you yesterday, and I'll reiterate. So the fight itself, I'm fine with because look at who's actually playing. You got Thanos, who's 9 years younger, in his prime. He's still in his I kill planets personally phase rather than look for stones. So he is out there murdering all the time. He's got his double-edged sword thing. He's absolute peak. Now he's not in Infinity Stone peak, which is what we saw in the last movie. But that Thanos is 9 years different. This is the fighty Thanos. Who is he fighting? Captain America, who was already rusty from being on the run for 2-3 years. Yeah. He fought in Infinity War, but 5 years passed. He obviously has been more about helping people in a social way rather than a fighty way. So he's not what he once was. But also he's just a super soldier facing a god. He wouldn't win anyway. But he held his own, give him all props. Thor is Fat Thor, ultra rusty, hasn't probably even used lightning for a couple of years. Yes, he has 2 things, that's awesome, but he's not a honed soldier anymore. He's lost his edge.
You'd think he'd be using lightning to heat up his pizza pops and stuff, though.
I meant attack lightning. Come on.
Oh, attack lightning. Okay. No, I buy it. I buy it.
And then you've got Iron Man, who was fully out of the game for 5 years. I'm sure Pepper said, "Don't Iron Man around while I'm away." He's using a suit he hasn't used for 5 years. Who so they're all at massively diminished fighting levels compared to Infinity War, and Thanos is absolutely his peak. And none of them use superpowers much. It's much more fighty, whereas in the other one, it was Titan was much more superpowery. So it's on that line of believability, but the fact that he is at his best physically versus 3 that are at their weakest in the franchise. I mean, none of them have been weaker than, except Captain America at the start of his film when he's a little dude. Yeah. But it's a little. It would have been nice if he had his second lieutenants do something and help, or have some cool tech to help to explain why. But I think it's on that line for me. if it had been Infinity War, no, and it is weird then to go back to Infinity War and see him beat, and 7 Avengers can also take out a guy with 5 stones, which should be, or 3, which would be nothing, So it's a little bit inconsistent, but I think based on who they are at the time,
no, I'll totally buy that for sure. I do like the fact that you saw the hammer move, and I'm like, okay, is the hammer like gonna come in to protect Thor? And no, it's Captain America that was such a great moment.
Awesome.
Yeah,
it's very surreal.
Thor's like, I knew it. Yeah. And it makes you wonder if back when he tried to lift it originally and it moved, if he's like, oh shit, it's moving. I don't want to, upstage Thor.
Yeah.
So if he's a good enough guy that he would have been like, I can't lift it. Or what happened there. But I mean, that was cool.
Yeah, the common theory I've read online is that, very exclusively, that when Captain America, the timeline fits this theory, is that Captain America found out that Bucky killed Iron Man's parents, and he was hiding Bucky, and he was with Thor at Iron Man at the time, and was hiding it from him, and so he was actively hiding the biggest secret from one of his best friends. He's not worthy, but in this film, he's completely free and clear and good conscience, so he's a better man now than he was then. That's why he's now worthy.
I'd buy that.
Yeah, it's a reason. But it's fun to see Thor and Thingy do, and say, oh, which hammer do you get? Oh, you get the small one. Like, it's just such a fun... It's a very character-based fight, and it's very similar to some other movies from them kicking ass, and it's just... it's a reversal from Thanos being the lead to them being the lead. They each get a movie, but it is good to see them do that fight, and still sort of lose. Well, I guess definitely lose. Captain America, I mean, at that point then, get to the moment, the other two are basically knocked out. Captain America is there, he's been pushed down, his shield's broken, he puts it back on his arm, he's like, I'm still going to fight you, man, I'm in the cinema thinking, this is the lowest point you could possibly get to. I mean, they've, like, what is going to happen? He's got the entire army of his prime time thing, and then suddenly... portals start opening, and of course you're like, oh well, yeah, of course these guys were around, of course they were, but it goes from the lowest moment to everyone. It's like,
and
sorry,
who is it that says on your left? Because he's standing there, he's like ready to fight Thanos and his army by himself.
Yes.
And I think somebody says on your left, which is a callback to...
I think it was still...
Winter Soldier.
I think it was still Phoenix? Whatever his guy, I think is...
Falcon.
I think he just flies out and says on your left, and it's like, hey.
Yeah, okay.
But I love that Wong says, or Bennett says, oh, I thought it'd be more. And he's like, is this not enough? And he pan around, it's like every team from every group, and it's like, yeah, this is... And they all get their moment,
Yeah.
And in that moment, I cried a bit, or I teared up, because it's just that from nothing and then build, and it's so satisfying to see everyone and all the people in all places, and then you're like, this is the battle of the franchise. This is everyone versus everyone. Smash.
Yeah, it's about time that these guys showed up. I was waiting the whole movie for these guys to come back.
Yes.
And they really didn't get enough screen time, but that's good. They're going to make up for that in the other movies, obviously.
I mean,
but
it makes sense, though. Everyone got a great part in the first one. Cap didn't as much. Iron Man, sort of, he was medium. But it makes sense this guy got, the balance in this one, I think, works really well.
Yeah. So everybody returns, and there's a great battle that happens. I love that Spider-Man finally uses his insta-kill. I mean, in Homecoming, we saw him activate it by mistake. He's like, no, I don't want to kill anybody. And then this one, he's just like, yep, insta-kill. And that was such a cool insta-kill as well. I thought it was really well done. Really great fight scenes and great character moments. And then, of course, the guns start shooting up, and it's like, oh, something's entering the atmosphere. And we had already forgotten about her. Captain Marvel comes down and smashes right through the ship. Again, not overdone, because everybody was complaining that she was OP and she was going to, whatever. And I got to admit, her line where she goes up to Peter Parker later with the gauntlet and says, or he says, hey, I'm Peter Parker. Hey, Peter Parker, got something for me? Yeah. I thought that was really, really cute. I thought it was a great line. I have no complaints with the character personally, so people can hate me for that. I don't care.
Well, she's only as good as she's given.
Yeah.
and she was better in this movie.
Yeah, that was a good line too. So,
but they were all balanced. I thought. I mean, that last fight had a lot of good moments, obviously. Although, I love the battle, but by the same token, I wish it had been less. Because as soon as everyone pops in, and you then see evil side versus our side, I think, oh, it's just CGI stuff happening. There's no grounding at all. It's just stuff. Nothing. Whereas, like, the Titan fight was so intense. It was heroes versus villain. It was methodical, strategic. In this battle, it doesn't matter. Stuff happens. Nothing matters. It's just a spectacle, but also, like Discovery Season finale, there's no spectacle inside the spectacle. It's the moments that keep it interesting, which is what the focus is. But I wished it had just been Thanos and his 7 lieutenants versus the 30 heroes. That would have been better than 1,000 aliens and flying monsters and 1,000 of art. Like, that's boringer to me than the Titan battle, or even see Wakanda was way more focused. This was blown out, I thought. What do you think? Am I off base there, do you think?
No, I totally agree. Those epic large scale battles kind of bug me as a whole in any movie. But yeah, I totally agree with you there. But yeah, there was enough moments and focus within the battle that really paid off. So yeah, whatever.
They knew what they were doing. They know what they're doing. And everyone got to do something cool. The ladies got a very specific "look, we're here" moment, which was a bit not jarring, just like, oh, I guess we're doing this. Okay, moving on. It's kind of like someone said online. It's like, I guess they all message each other saying, let's all meet up here right now for this moment.
Well, no, Doctor Strange, I think, was a big part of it. Like, they vanished and then came right back, as Spider-Man said. So they were all pretty much where they were. He gathered the main ones up.
Portals, though.
Yeah, he would have communicated with Wong, whatever his name was.
So you think Strange knew that we needed an all-girl scene?
Oh, God.
No, but you're saying that, but it's like, so you deliberately put all the girl heroes in one shot? Like, that's even weirder that you'd say that.
No. Well, you got to think between the snap and the time it took for them to actually show up on the battlefield, there was some organizing going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But it's weird that you can see some of the heroes, like, coming out of the battle back to the back of the battle. Like, they don't all start there. So it's like, okay. It would have been fun if it was like a couple of, like in the other film where there's the 3 ladies versus the baddie lady. That's kind of fine. It's like, oh, they're 3 together, whatever. That's a little bit whatever. I don't care, but the fact that it was made a thing of, but don't care. Although we'll say the horse, the phoenix, the unicorn. I was like, the fuck.
The unicorn.
Yeah, Valkyrie.
Pegasus.
Pegasus. Yeah. Oh, come on, it's everything but Pegasus. I was like, what the hell is that? Is that like, where'd she get that? What is that? What is there? And that made me chuckle a bit. There's a flying horse in the battle. That's dumb. That's dumb.
It's part of the Valkyries, though. They all rode flying horses.
But what does that mean? Are they actually horses? Is it a horse on Earth that she turned? You know what I mean? It's a stupid.
No, they're winged steeds. You need to brush up on your mythology.
No, I know what it is, but that doesn't make it that in this. She's in a winged horse in a space battle with aliens shooting laser beams and all these superpowers, and she's in a horse. It really stood out to me. It's like, this is a very dumb visual that we're seeing right there. Like,
I disagree.
If it was a mech horse, like actually a space tech horse, but not an actual horse.
I disagree.
Who else had good moments? Because this is where, like, I think it's so overloading. I've only seen it once. I don't remember the moments as much in this battle. So I think that's pretty much all I can remember of the battle. Apart from, so Captain Marvel came in, did a cool blowy uppy. I know he used the Power Stone to knock her out, which was good. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then yeah, I guess he gets the stones. He tries to snap. And nothing.
Yep. And then they're moving up on the hand, and I am inevitable. I am Iron Man. Dun 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 dun. Yeah. So anyway, then he dies. Yay. Pepper Potts gets to say goodbye. That's nice. Peter's there as well. I love how he's kind of like dazed and out of it and kind of not focusing on people until Pepper shows up. I really like that.
He didn't really get a final talking moment.
No. Well, his message, his pre-recorded message was that.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. But normally you get like a one last moment to say what I think. He was just like that was a bit. It's fine. And I think we said a minute ago, but I didn't understand how he got the stones off Thanos without him knowing in 1 second. Like there wasn't a connective tissue, but I know he touched the Thanos, and I guess he told the nanites in that glove to transfer them to his glove. I mean, it's a very like, ha! Don't think about it.
It's very convenient, lazy.
Yeah.
As I said, there's some moments that just kind of go, but you glaze them over because the rest of the movie was so fantastic.
And there is a reason. It's not Star Trek Discovery plot hole. It's like there is a reason. It's just yeah. But he snaps and he kills all Thanos' people, except Gamora. But he doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know who she is. So that's that plot hole. I don't think it was a plot hole, but that's that covered. And he dies. And it's sad. And then you get the funeral, and it was confirmed by the actors that all the people were actually there. It wasn't green screen at all. All those 28 people were there, and it was nice.
And did you see the kid at the back?
Yep.
You're like, who the hell's that? That's the kid from Iron Man 3 that gives them the ham sandwich and the Hello Kitty watch.
Yep.
Or whatever, the Dora the Explorer watch. I forget which one.
No one remembers, Stuart, so it's fine that you don't.
Exactly. It's Iron Man 3. It wasn't the best one, so.
No. And that was a good scene. I heard people in cinema behind me. Who's that kid? It's so jarring. It's like these amazing people like this random. It sort of takes you out of it because he's important in that one film, but he's so inconsequential to everything else.
But he might make an impact in future films.
Sure. Yeah, sure. It makes sense to Tony Stark, but not to the cinematic universe of the Marvel films.
Yeah.
But it was cute. Although, as someone else pointed out, it's a bit. Again, same thing. It makes sense for the films, but not for the universe. That they're all in their little huddles. It would have been kind of nice to have them in more together. Because there's the Black Panther 3. There's this 3. Yeah. It's so segregatory that it makes it feel like it's green screen. It would be nice to be one big group huddled together and just move the faces. Would have been kind of nice. I'm fine with it. I really like it, but it felt very segregated, very forcibly segregated. But it is, but also and then what do we get at the end? We get the message, which is nice, bit simple but nice. Well, I'm sure there's hidden messages somewhere. Tony's message.
Yeah.
They can always play that card.
And then is that the end?
Oh yeah, Cap has to get the stones back.
Oh yes, Cap has. Yes, okay. And then of course he doesn't return in the 5 seconds, and all of a sudden there's the old dude sitting there. And I gotta admit the aging process they did, whether it was CG or makeup or a combination of both.
Pretty sure it was CG. It looked amazing, but
it was amazing. Yes.
Well, because how many times, and surely it's most of them, have you thought? Well, I mean, come on, TOS, Deadly Years. That's how they look when they're old. No, it's not. It always.
Not at all.
It never actually reflects. And so I thought it was very smart to do they really deeply thought it through. How would his face look? Because it was a lot. I mean, it could have been a separate man. It could have been just a separate guy. But I thought it was a very well done bit of underdone in terms of subtle, but he had a life of happiness and peace. But I think we all saw it coming. As soon as he jumped away, he was going to stay there. And I assume we're never going to see him again. So the fact that he's there is really, it's problematic.
I think we're going to see. I think it's going to be explained in
I think so
movie.
too.
I really do.
But the way it ends it isn't clear enough. But then again, as you just said, if in 5 years' time, if it's explained in the next film, then none of us will think it's dumb because we'll have the explanation pre-built in. So let it sit and see how it is. Because question: do you think we're going to see Captain Chris Evans back?
Yes, I do.
You do? Young, old, flashback, new back.
At least a flashback to with a young one, at least. But yeah, we're gonna see him again in future films. With the multiverse thing, everything's possible. Yeah. I did like the send off at the end with all the signatures, a very a la Star Trek 6.
Totally stolen from that. Yeah.
Did you think the same thing? Yeah.
Absolutely.
They did it a bit better with the images though, but really well done.
Well, it was funny because, and this is also people around me said the same. As soon as, because the film ends on him in the past dancing with Carter, which I thought was a kind of an odd way to end it. I guess because the first film wasn't First Avenger, it was Iron Man, so it should have been an Iron Man. If they wanted to actually close out, like it was oh, that's the end.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it wasn't his story, but this was fine. Just it was a little bit weird. And then they got to the names, and I thought, because it started with Black Widow, I'm like, ooh, we're actually seeing who's dead, because they're like saying goodbye to the franchise. This is the sign off for the franchise. I was like, him, her, and then it goes like Thor. I'm like, oh, Chris Evans. I'm like, okay, like it made sense. And they keep showing ones that are going to be in it. It's like, and people around me are like, oh my god, they're out of the franchise too. No more Thor. No more this person. Like it gets kind of that's a bit confusing first time watch anyway for me.
Yeah, no, I agree.
They realize it's not. It's just like alphabetical order, or it's just an order, and it ends with Iron Man. So it's like, oh, okay, well, obviously he's dead.
Well, then they had everybody in there. They had what's her name, Jane.
Yeah.
Like, really? Why? Just you're saying goodbye to the first set of this stage of movies, basically.
Well, it was everyone who's appeared in the film, and she technically appeared in the film.
Yeah. Anyway, and then no end credit scene was really disappointing. There's a hint to the next phase with the hammering sound. I don't know what that means, whether it's a reference to Iron Man making a new set of armor or somebody. Or
people are calling out that's more reference to the first Iron Man ending as it began with.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can buy either way.
It's supposed to be a hint towards the next phase of the movies.
But it would also be fine if it was just an end, because this is the end of the first 4 phases. Now we're starting new. We'll see. Yeah.
It was just I think that was a really missed opportunity to not have an end credit scene in this one.
Yes, I agree.
It was just that was a real letdown. So.
Yeah, or mid credit at least, like the first sting. And
after all the signatures would have been nice to have something else.
And not even tease the next film, or even just like, I mean, obviously they didn't know he was going to die, but like Stan Lee sitting down with Iron Man, like on the set of the first film, and be like, so Mr. Downey Jr., this is Stan Lee. Oh, Stan Lee. Oh, so good. Like that moment would have been like beautiful. Again, this is, didn't exist, couldn't have existed, whatever, but.
And we didn't mention the Stan Lee cameo. He was back in the 70s, de-aged. Make peace, not war, man.
Yeah.
Driven by so it was good.
It's sad that because we knew he died, that had to be really important. But that is just as important as all the rest of the cameos. Not at all. So it fit the cameo, but if that was his last, didn't quite hit the nail for me. But it was nice.
Yeah.
But they didn't know. I mean, you know what I mean? So it's fine. He's had better ones. He's had worse ones. But it's nice to see him, obviously, young. That was nice. And that made me sad. I got an instant like, oh. Yeah. Super chat straight with one more, and we can do our closing.
All right, Jeff Jacobs puts in $3.
Hi, Jeff.
Gotta go. We will get 8 more. Will we get 8 more likes? Thanks all. Or we will get 8 more likes.
Yes.
All. I'm sure we will after people rewatch this, because there's just a lot of people are probably just missing it. So, but that's okay.
So yeah, closing thoughts on Stargate, the Infinity War, Beyond.
Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
Burnham saves the universe.
Yes. Enjoyed it more the second time around. Need to watch it a few more times, I think. But the first time, like I said, it was good. It just felt kind of empty and hollow at the end. But now, do
you know why you felt that? Because if you didn't feel it the second time, why did you feel it the first time? Because I was satisfied.
Maybe because I went by myself.
Yeah. Okay. But the second time.
Second time was much better, and really, really thought the ending was superbly done. Again, few little rush things, lazy things, but again, a lot of that can be corrected and fixed in future movies, so that when we go back and watch this, it doesn't seem out of place. So, lots of potential, and really happy that it ended the way it did. I'm kind of ashamed to see Robert Downey Jr. go, but they're getting older. They can't do that forever. And of course, I think they will be back in flashbacks or in multiverse scenarios, just as little cameo roles. I think is a possibility. So, is it the end? Probably not.
I mean, that's always what you assume, but I think they might actually stick with, because it's like Logan, Hugh Jackman. It's like once you come back for a cameo after your end is now the cameo. So I think Downey Jr. I think Evans may, if they pay him enough. He's also young. He's young as hell. I mean, he's too young to be that rich, But Downey Jr. I mean, he can walk away just fine. Although you might see, I mean, to be fair, he could sell his likeness to Marvel. Have CGI Tony Stark. Just have a really really young him. I'd be fine with that. I don't care. I mean, whatever. Just without him turning up on set.
I can see messages to Morgan when she becomes older and becomes Iron Man or Iron Woman. I can see messages to her like he.
That's true. That is
his
true.
Father.
So I mean, for Iron Woman 1 in 2028, when she's old enough, and then he comes back. Yeah, that would be sweet. That would be a good reason to come back. They say, well, we had a great Phase 5 and Phase 6. We want Morgan to come back and be Iron Lady. That'd be. I think he'd totally do that as well, because that's a real reason. It's not just like money.
Yeah.
It's like him being Spider-Man was perfect. That was exactly right. Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Before I say what I think, how does this compare into all the Marvel? I know we talked about Infinity War last time. It was in top 7, I think you said, 7 to 10. Where does this one fit in your Marvel Cinematic Universe of all 23? Do you think? Is it top 10, top 7, top 5, top 3? What do you think?
Top 5 for sure.
Okay, good. Cool.
It depends on my mood as to where it sits in there, but it definitely is one of the ones that I would really want to rewatch.
Yeah.
It's right up there with Thor Ragnarok, another one of my favorites, and top 5 for sure.
Sorry. Yeah, for me, I really enjoyed it. I think I managed to keep low expectations going in, just like, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Because it is very much just like part 2 of the experience. It's not even so much its own film as part 2 of an experience. So I enjoyed it a lot. Character stuff's excellent. The VFX is great. Although, like I said, the end of battle I think was too CGI. Should be more grounded.
Yeah.
But the hero stuff was great. So I get it, but also it didn't need to be that. It would have saved some money as well. Whatever. More heist would have been nice, but you could also say it could have been too much. So, it's not flawless. But again, so impressive they managed to get it done, and the fact that it was good following Infinity War, which was also an amazingly high bar, and a different film. It's not repeating it's not repeating Infinity War. It's not even repeating any other Avengers, despite being in Avengers. It is its own film, and it stands out as a unique entity in this universe of all movies. So I think it definitely deserves its credit. It's very well scripted. It's very funny. It's got some great moments. For me, probably top 7. Like I say, Infinity War's higher for me, but I've only seen it once. I've seen Infinity War twice now. I'll see how it feels in IMAX 3D, because that's going to be a different experience. But for me, it's more about embracing the past, obviously literally, than telling a story. Not a bad thing, but so I think Infinity War is better in a filmic way. But this is a good end, and it's good.
Well. And Mike P puts in $1 without a comment, because you can't make a comment with $1. But he also goes on to say Tony Stark downloaded his consciousness into a supercomputer and becomes Peter Jarvis. That would be cool to have Iron Man be the voice of another Iron Man suit, or Peter Parker's. That'd be kind of neat. A good way to carry on the character, and he doesn't matter if he ages really. So
but I don't think he'd want his brain in to his comment specifically. I don't think he'd want to live on like that. It'd be
Oh, it wouldn't be his consciousness. It'd be just his. Yeah. And Bill might put in $1 more.
Oh, thank you. I was going to say
thank you, Bill.
Super chat, but I guess that's there's our last super chats. But anyone else want to give for one second? But this was fun, Stuart. Thanks for the chat. We've gone 2.5 hours. Oops, that makes sense for a 3-hour film. Can we go half an hour more? We'll go the full Avengers length. Talk about Avengers.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, this was a good discussion. I really enjoyed it. So.
And I know some of you don't think it's a bit weird to talk about non-Trek, but it's quite a broad universe out there, and obviously we haven't got that many people who tuned in, but I think it was a great vibe with you guys. A few super chats, thank you for that. Obviously, next week we'll be back to Trek. A lot more Trek dedicated content. We just want to get some of these big topics on this week out. I guess more for us than for you, but hopefully you guys will enjoy in retrospect. And for us, then, in a few years' time, we can go back and see what we thought, because that was quite interesting when we had our Last Jedi review, which hasn't been released. That's a time capsule to what we thought at the time.
Yeah.
That'll probably be fun to release as the other one comes out. Like, this was filmed a year and 3/4 ago. We haven't watched it since. Enjoy! Yeah. That I think will be fun. For sure. But yeah, I guess we'll see you tomorrow for the Saturday episode. I believe we have a special guest. Do you want to announce the guest? Do you remember what I said?
No, I don't remember what you said.
AT.
Oh, yeah. It's okay, fine. We're releasing an anti-Trekker video tomorrow, if you're interested.
It's a good debate. We have lots of interesting debates with that man. So tune in for that. Yes. And then you'll see us next week for multiple lives, including possibly something coming up, which will be exciting. And you'll see videos and posts about that. And if you love Trekyards and you love what we do, it's going to be a lot of that. So tune in. So I guess your final words, Stuart. What's your final word?
Go watch ENDGAME if you haven't. If you've watched this whole thing and not seen ENDGAME, shame on you for spoiling it for yourself. But if you thank you for joining us and listening to our discussion on it. Hopefully you can add stuff in the comments, and I'm sure we'll talk about it again at some point when the next one comes out. We'll see how it ties in. All that. So, yeah.
My final word is da 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 da. Bye everyone.
Bye.